Let's get it. Hey, Dante's Boxing Nation Radio. We are back after about a week or two. We back up in here. It's going down like a plane crash. Y'all already know what it is. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to go back all the way back to Lomachenko versus Linares since we didn't talk about that on the show. Let me first go ahead and shout out some cats in the comment section right now. Let me see what we got over here. Let's see, the first person in the comment section, my man Stewie, he said, yo, my man King Corleone, one of my moderators, hashtag new media or no media, says my man King Corleone. Good looking out, family. Money Pal is on, he's on the horn with me, and he's in the comment section. What's going on, Money? That's what it is, man. We got Justin Jackson repping that AZ, Arizona up in the building. Yeah, man, go ahead, man. Rep your city, rep your state. Rep your country, rep your hood. Go ahead and rep your continent, rep your island. That's what it is, y'all. My man Kevin Stenhouse always showing that love. What's going on, man? Yeah, and I'm going to be on camera in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and shout out everybody before we go ahead and get into the intro and everything. Let me go ahead and once again shout out everyone's country and state and city. What's going on to my man Reggie? He said, great to have you back with the live show. Tuning in from Las Vegas. All day, man. All day. Once again, we got a whole lot to talk about. Let me see what else. Let me see what other states we got over here repping right now. Okay, Lauderdale's in the building, says my man Boss. All right. My moderators up in here. My man J Dog holding it down. Hashtag new media. Y'all already know what it is, man. Hulk smash that like button. That's right, man. Hit that like button, man, if you like what we doing over here. Dante's Boxing Nation Radio. You know what it is. Yep. Let me see what else. And once again, we're going to have the phone lines open so you guys can go ahead and call in, enjoying the conversation. We about to start the show. We just warming up the mic right now. We haven't even started the show yet, all right? Toronto up in here. I see you, Toronto. What's going on, the Bell? Bronx, New York up in here. Houston all day, says my man Ronald. That's what it is. New Orleans up in here. Fort Worth, 313. DC. Shout out Dante. Delaware up in here, says my man King. All right, King's Blood Gaming. All right, Birmingham, UK. That's what it is, man. San Diego, down the street from me. He says salute DBN. I appreciate that. Man. Yeah, my man said what's happening DBN from CA, California all day. Yeah, man. Money Pal repping that Mitchell, Alabama. Yeah, man. Dirty, swamp dirty. That's what it is. Yes, sir. All right, y'all, we're about to go ahead and start up the show, man. We're about to start up the show. There will be a small pause, and then we're going to have the intro, and then it's going down, all right, y'all? That's what it is, man. That's what it is. Yes, sir. Detroit up in here. Jersey up in here. Delaware. I'm just reading all the shout-outs in the comment section right now. Yonkers, New York. The Locks. Riverside. Yeah, man. Came just in time. My man said came just in time. Hashtag Philly. H-Town. All day, y'all. New Zealand up in here. Yeah, man. Yeah, we international. That's what it is. Alabama. Welcome back, DBN. I appreciate that, Ronald. I appreciate that, man. We got a lot to talk about. So, it's only right to shout out everybody because I appreciate y'all always tuning in. Let me see. Sacramento. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and start this show up. We're going to go ahead and start this show up and get it in, y'all. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nation. And let me tell you something right now. If you guys are looking for the best fragrance products in the world, you need to go to ashkicking.com. That is ashkicking.com. Keep your home smelling fresh and clean with Ash Kicking fragrance products. Treat your skin and hair with Ash Kicking all-natural health and beauty products. Everything you need to create a comfortable home living environment and create a comfortable space for entertaining. The best incense burners in the world, home fragrance products, and health and beauty products, go to ashkicking.com.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey, yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey, yo better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. DBN Radio, we back at it, y'all. We are back at it. We got a whole lot to talk about. I know we've been going for a minute, man, but it's right back to business. It's strictly business, as EPMD would say. Man, let me go ahead and introduce my man on the panel with me right now. Y'all already know his son. If you guys don't know his son, this man right here, he has an undefeated son that's a prospect, one of the best prospects out right now. Little young knockout artist. His son is Money Powell IV, and I got on the horn former fighter Money Powell III. What's going on, Money?
Hey, it's all good, Dante. What's happening, man?
Another one, Money. Another one, man. Let's go ahead and get it in, man. Let's go ahead and get it in and do it right, man. So once again, you guys see the number on the screen. We'll take some calls in a minute, but Money, we got a lot of catching up to do, man. We got a lot of catching up to do since we've been, off the horn for a minute. So, the first thing I want to talk about, Money, and you know what, before I even start talking about everything else, let me go ahead and show y'all this shirt. Man, they showed me a lot of love out there in Canada, man, Toronto, man. My homie, E-King Fight News. Shout out to E-King Fight News and his wife, man. They showed me tremendous love. They bought me this shirt right here. Y'all see this Canadian shirt I'm rocking right here. So I had to show the love and rock it on the show. I told them I would rock it on the show, man. Had a lot of fun out there in Canada. Can't wait to go back. It was we're gonna talk about that fight out there, Adonis Stevenson versus Badu Jack. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about the Linares versus Lomachenko fight. I want to talk about that since we didn't really chop it up that much about that fight. What did you think about that fight, Money? And we'll take it from there.
I personally think it was a good job by Loma. He boxed well, but he met a wall, if you ask me, in terms of physicality. He met a wall. He had some limitations, even though that he stopped Linares in the end. He had shown some limitations at 135, like I thought he would.
Yeah.
I think if he gets in there with Mikey Garcia, that will be bad news for him. Also, some of the other guys that may be in that weight class as well that can take his shots and they can really walk him down.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I've been saying, Money. Now we see how difficult it's going to be for him to fight. See, because Lomachenko is used to being the taller, bigger guy. At least definitely taller guy. Like when he was in there with Gary Russell Jr., he's used to be, and when he was in there with Rigo, he's used to being the taller, bigger guy. So now when we see him moving up in weight against Linares, who's a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but he wasn't the best in the division, So when you have like you said, all of a sudden he's looking like, human now. You know what I mean? Like when Superman had to decide if he wanted to be, with what's her name again? What's his love interest in the movie Superman? Laura, was it Laura or whatever? But whatever. When he had to decide if he was going to be in love with her, he had to give up all his superpowers. I'm taking it far with
Lois Lane.
Lois Lane. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember that one right there? He had to, so he had to be a regular person. He was no longer immortal, and that's kind of what we seen in that fight. We didn't see, this guy that seemed mortal. He was human in that fight. He was humanized in that fight, and I believe if he's in there with Mikey Garcia. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think that's a 50-50 fight, though. I mean, I still think it's a 50-50 fight. I still think Loma is the more skilled fighter when it comes to Mikey, but I don't think. But the problem is he can't make any mistakes for a whole 12 rounds, and that's going to be difficult to do against a guy that is much bigger, a lot more accurate, because we know Mikey is going to be extremely more accurate compared to Linares. And I think he's going to take a lot more chances. And even Linares took a lot of chances. Linares was one of the first fighters that wasn't afraid to fight back, with Lomachenko, because he understood he had that size advantage in there. He had the height, and he was punching every time Lomachenko was punching. Usually fighters, they get frustrated, and they get overwhelmed by Lomachenko's, his angles and his speed, the way he mixes up his attack. It wasn't working with Linares. And this explains why we didn't get to see Lomachenko attempt to do the same thing that Rigo attempted to do, which is move up 2 weight classes to fight a virtual type fighter like Lomachenko. Right. We didn't see Loma do that because Loma could have did that with Terrence Crawford. Because it's funny how everyone keeps trying to debate who's the best fighter right now. Is it Lomachenko? Is it Terrence Crawford? But Terrence Crawford, he had already called out Lomachenko, and Lomachenko at one point was only 2 divisions away. They could have had that fight. They could have fought at a catch weight, So it didn't happen. But now, Money. Now we have the situation with Mikey Garcia. So, I mean, now Bob Arum, let me go ahead and just set this all up. So Bob Arum, he said after Lomachenko's performance, he said the logical fight next for Lomachenko is not the Mikey Garcia fight, but the Ray Beltran fight. And he said it'll be too difficult to negotiate with Mikey Garcia. He said he's going to ask for too much money. So, I mean, Money, don't you find that kind of odd that Bob Arum is already making excuses before he even goes to the negotiation table? I mean, your thoughts on that situation?
Okay. We all know that people that were once part of Bob Arum's web, when they leave, it's almost like the door is closed on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I can see why Bob is saying that now. So he's not as forgiving when people leave him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about business. It's more personal, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And he also knows that if he takes a chance with Loma, just put all of that to the side for a moment. If he takes a chance and puts Loma off in there with Garcia, to me personally, I see that as it's probably more of a 60-40 in reference to Garcia.
Yeah, and that's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's because I said 50-50, but I won't argue a 60-40. I wouldn't even argue a 70-30. For Mikey. I mean, it would be an uphill battle. And once again,
it would be.
But going back to Bob Arum though, Money, I truly believe. I mean, you kind of touched on it. You said it's personal because Mikey left him, but I truly believe Bob is smarter than what people think when it comes to his knowledge of the sport, and he's been around the sport long enough to know certain styles. His fighter may not have the advantage in that situation, and he knows after watching that performance, he knows that Loma would have a very difficult time with Mikey Garcia. Just like I tell people all the time, when Bob Arum was promoting Nonito Donaire, I remember this. He said to the public, and he did have a little bit of a personal riff with Donaire while he was promoting him, but he said in the interview, he said, he's not going to beat these guys. He's not going to beat all of these guys. He said, you know, you got Rigo, you got this guy, you got that. He said he's not going to beat all of these guys. You know, so he was basically alluding to this is the reason why Donaire wasn't fighting Rigo, you know, in the first place, because he probably would. This was like a year before the Rigo fight, the Donaire Rigo fight, and then a year later we seen what happened. So Bob understands this. You know, he understands the math. It don't add up. I mean, you know, it's a very good chance, you know, that his Muhammad Ali, as Bob Arum would call him, because he said he ain't seen nothing like that since Muhammad Ali. That's what Bob Arum said. You know, he knows his Muhammad Ali may end up losing in a fight like that. So once again, you guys can call in. You know, before we switch up topics, I'm gonna take a quick call. Here, let's go ahead and go to the phone lines. Open them up early.
Okay.
All right, we got, and I know who this is. We got 832, my man Jimmy J Smooth. What's going on, Jimmy?
Man, what's popping and what's dropping, man? I want to jump back on this subject because from what I understand that Mikey Garcia is going to face Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
And if Lomachenko faces Ray Beltran, that will set up a possible unification fight between the winner of Mikey Garcia versus Easter Bunny, man. So what chances would y'all to give Robert Easter? Because Robert Easter fight, let's not get it twisted, people are already counting out Robert Easter as we speak. What would y'all rate? What would y'all give? Would you say it's a 50-50 fight or a 60-40 for Garcia? Where is y'all stance on Garcia versus Easter?
Hey, you know what? I'm in the minority, Jimmy. I'm going to tell you right now. And you guys been watching my videos. You see all the polls I've been doing. Everybody is picking Mikey Garcia. And, you know, I don't want nobody to take this personal, you know. But I truly think that Robert Easter, he's going to win that fight. I think Robert Easter, I think the height, I think the reach, you know, the fact that Robert Easter, he showed that he can fight on the inside against Comey. Because I know I hear some people saying, you know, oh, well, he's too tall to be fighting on the inside. But no, I think it's good for you to be able to do both. You know, if you can only do one, to me, that's a problem. You know, if you're tall and you can only fight tall, you know, then there's a flaw that you have. There's a weakness you have. Get on the inside, and he doesn't know what to do. But with Robert Easter, I think, you know, he can fight on the outside and the inside. And, you know, he's not going to freeze up like Adrian Broner did. You know what I mean? So I truly believe that I think Robert Easter, you know, he will win that fight if I had to pick somebody. And once again, I know I'm completely in the minority. Once again, I went to the Mayweather gym, and, you know, you guys could check out the prediction video I did over there. But let's just say once again, I know I'm in the minority, but that's my pick. You know, we trying to break this down. I'm looking at flaws and attributes, and this is a total different style that Mikey has ever faced before. He's never been in there with a guy taller than him, longer than him, can fight on the outside, can fight on the inside, who's battle tested, who has athleticism and rhythm coordination, you know, and once again, it's not going to freeze up like Broner. So that's my breakdown on it. Money, your take on that fight?
Actually, I'm in the minority with you.
Oh, okay.
I give a yes. As a matter of fact, I give him a 55% chance of winning that fight, based on the Robert Easter that I know that can fire those nasty left hooks on the inside. Because of his reach. He has a 76-inch reach, and he throws some of the shortest left hooks I've seen for a tall guy.
For a tall guy. Yeah.
Yes, and no denying it. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. I think people are still looking at him from his most previous fight.
Absolutely.
I said, take that and throw it in the trash can. This guy is going to come out completely different against Garcia, and he's going to cause major league problems. It's not about what Robert's going to do. It's all about how Garcia, in my personal opinion, is going to handle that.
Absolutely. And you know, once again, it's funny when you look at the perception, you know, how once again, when you have a fighter like Robert Easter who's trying to get a Mikey Garcia fight, everybody is looking at everything. They're criticizing the smallest things with Robert, like, oh, you see how he got hit with that jab? See, he don't deserve to fight Mikey Garcia. Look how he got hit with this punch. Look how he got hit with he don't deserve to fight him. You know what I mean? So it's like you looking at everything under a microscope when it comes to Robert Easter, and that is the reason why, you know, people were saying, oh, he can't beat him. Look, he got hit, he got this, and he got that. You know what I mean? So that doesn't really make any sense to me. And what's even crazier is while everyone was saying Robert Easter has no chance, you know, one of the only people outside of myself that was saying this is going to be Mikey's most difficult fight. You know who else was saying that? Mikey Garcia was saying that. Mikey Garcia,
he said it himself.
He said it himself. Mikey said to me, you know, he said in my interview, Mikey said, because I didn't think he would say this, because I remember it was the time when the UK guy, you guys help me out, I'm forgetting the former UK champion that was at 135.
Terry Flanagan.
Flanagan, thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, when Flanagan, I remember Flanagan, they asked him when he was champion, who's the most difficult champion out of all the champions? He said Mikey Garcia was. He said he didn't think it was Robert. He didn't think it was Linares. He said it was Mikey Garcia. Then I told Mikey that Flanagan said that. So I'm thinking maybe he'll say the same thing about Flanagan. But he said no. Robert Easter would be the most difficult, you know, because of his height, because of his reach, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, more recently, he did tell me after the Fortuna fight, he said, I changed my mind. I no longer think he's the most difficult after the Fortuna fight. So, you know, once again, we'll see what that means. And also, it looked like Mikey was already playing little mind games, which is an indication that the fight is definitely coming to fruition. Because Mikey, he put up a picture, I guess, of his son with a dead rabbit or something, like some kind of rabbit. You know, it was like a dead looking rabbit. He said, we hunting for rabbits. My son is hunting for rabbits. You know, so obviously that sounds like a shot at Bunny, you know, Robert Easter. So I just hope this fight happens, man, because it'll be a great build up. And I can't wait to ask you, Mikey, next time I see you, do you still think nobody wants to watch this fight but me and a couple other people? Because I'm gonna get on Mikey about that, because Mikey said that to me, you know, a couple weeks before this fight, you know, got this close to being done. He said only people want to watch that fight is you and a couple other people. So now he's about to make this fight, and the fight, what I hear, is going to be in LA. So let's see how many people want to see this fight at the Staples Center. We're gonna find out.
Big money.
We're gonna find out if I'm the only one there and a couple of my cousins. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if that's the case. So anyway, Jimmy, what was you about to say?
And not just that. From what I understand, Robert Easter is going to Kevin Cunningham, just like Adrian Broner, but he's going to keep Mike Stafford on his training staff as well. So
smart.
I think Kevin Cunningham will do a great job with Robert Easter and teach him how to use his reach. And Kevin Cunningham is going to get on his tail, man, because Kevin Cunningham was fussing at Adrian Broner, and the second half of that Vargas fight, he turned it on, man. And it's something about Kevin Cunningham, because Kevin Cunningham, similar to Virgil Hunter, he has a military background as well as a police officer's background, and he's going to get on you. Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's trained 15 world champions and stuff like that. So I think Robert Easter is going to be a better win, lose, or draw. Robert Easter is going to be a better fighter than you have seen him in the past thing. And one thing I like about Robert Easter is he uses the shoulder roll better than Adrian Broner. He knows
no doubt about it.
And when not to use it.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So
that's right.
And so I think. Go ahead.
And something else too, guys, is once again, when you on that hope list and you get hit flush and you don't get knocked out, they praise that. You know what I mean? Oh my God, look at the chin on this man. Oh, he got hit. Oh, Golovkin got hit by Willie Monroe on purpose. That's because he didn't care about it. You know, that's what they say. So, if we want to use the hope theory, then we got to say it's great that he was getting hit against Fortuna and showing that he had a chin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, of course, I don't go off of that philosophy, but I'm just giving them a taste of their own medicine, you know. So, but I truly, and something else about Fortuna, you have to understand he has somewhat of an unorthodox Maidana type of, unpredictable style. You know, he's bouncing around the ring. You know, all of a sudden he comes out with a perfect combination. Then he's back to bouncing. You don't know what he's going to do. You know what I mean? Mikey Garcia is way more conventional. You know, he comes in with the 1-2. That's what he does. And he's accurate with it. You know what I mean? You know, don't get me wrong. He got other weapons, but that's what he's known for. A sharp, accurate 1-2, you know? So, you know, we'll see, man. We'll definitely, don't get me wrong. I won't be surprised if Mikey wins the fight. I just feel, you know, if I had to give someone an edge, I would slightly give it to Robert Easter. Let's go back to the phone lines. You know what, I'll keep you on, or do you want to jump back in the comment section, Jimmy?
Oh, I'll stay on, brother. I'll stay on, brother.
Okay, all right, man. We're gonna get
please.
We'll get to another call real quick, and then we're gonna jump into Adonis Badu, and then we'll talk about everything else. Shawn Porter against Danny, everything, and whatever else you guys want to talk about. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the phone. I'm gonna go back to the phone lines. We got 413. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name's Michael, calling in from Massachusetts. What's going on, Dante?
All right, what's going on, family? What's good?
Yo, y'all really think Robert Easter is gonna beat Mikey Garcia?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very, very competitive fight. You don't see it as competitive. Do you even see it as Mikey's toughest fight or what?
Listen, man, I got love for you, and I got love for you with the show and everybody who called. But y'all have completely lost your mind, my dude. Mikey Garcia is gonna pick this dude a fucking part, demoralize him, make him look stupid like an amateur. Do you see how sloppy Robert Easter looked against Fortuna and his previous opponents?
Yeah, but like I said,
it doesn't matter if he's sloppy or not.
And once again, we talking about
sloppy or not,
and we talking about a different style though. We talking about Robert having to chase around a shorter guy who jumps in, bounces in and out. You know, he's doing a lot of different things. Mikey has a complete different style. You know, I mean, you can always have a certain fighter that will make you look sloppy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, and once again, you guys have to understand, it's not personal, you know, when we pick somebody. If I tell you I think, you know, this guy's going to beat that guy, it's not personal. I'm just trying to break it down. You know, you can tell me that you think Mikey Garcia is going to win, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. But, yeah, I believe, and once again, this was Mikey's own words. Mikey said he thought that Robert Easter is going to be his most difficult fight. He didn't say, oh, this is easy. This guy is sloppy. Oh, my God. And something else you got to realize. If Mikey felt this way, Mikey would have took this fight a long time ago. He wouldn't wait to take this fight, and he certainly wouldn't say that this is going to be my most difficult fight. You know what I mean? So, you know, so that, once again, that's not to suggest that Mikey won't win the fight, but even Mikey feels that this is going to be a difficult fight, and that's all I'm saying. You know,
ain't not personal like that, but you know, it's a pretty good fight. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I honestly think Mikey Garcia is going to pick him apart because, I mean, Adrian Broner, in my opinion, I think Adrian Broner did a very good job against Mikey Garcia. I think he did everything he possibly do. I think Mikey Garcia was on his P's and Q's that night.
No, Mikey but Broner froze up, but Broner wasn't consistent, though. And I think if we are comparing Broner to Robert, regardless, win, lose, or draw, Robert will be consistent in the fight. He will be fighting if he gets knocked out, he's going to be fighting until he gets knocked out. It's not going to be look good for 10 seconds and then not fight for the rest of the round. That's not going to be Robert. I can guarantee you that. You know, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Mikey Garcia is going to pick him apart. I think Robert Easter. I think he's a good fighter. He has talent, but I think he might get over aggressive. He might get impatient, and I think Mikey Garcia might pick him apart. To be honest,
that's a great point you made right there, because that is possible. It's possible he could get over aggressive, you know, and get caught with something. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That makes sense, man. But hey, but thanks for your call, though. All right, man.
I'll down to it. Be easy, man.
All right, take care, man. Take care.
All right, take care.
Yeah. Now before. Any thoughts on what he said before we jump to something else, Danny Garcia or Adonis? No, yeah, okay.
I think Cunningham is not going to let him get over aggressive, but I think he's going to have effective aggressiveness with Cunningham. Because with Stafford, I think Stafford kind of babied him to some degree. But again, I'm glad he's still keeping him on the training staff to give him some pointers and stuff like that. But I just think it's going to be a better fight and a more tactical fight under Cunningham.
Styles make fights, man. Styles make fights at the end of the day. You have to understand, when you chasing someone, of course you risk running into something more. But he's not going to have to chase Mikey Garcia, though. You know, it's not going to have to chase him, so it is going to be more tactical. It's not going to be, you know, I gotta, you know, track you down, and then I gotta catch you before you catch me. I don't think it's going to be that type of fight. You know, I think it's going to be, I think at least in terms of geography, where they will be positioned in the ring, it'll be like Broner. You know, like Broner, Mikey Garcia, where they're just standing in front of each other, trying to, outdo each other. It ain't going to be one guy constantly moving around the ring and trying to, you know, set up a surprise ambush attack. It's not going to be like that. So yeah, man, I see it
with Easter. He can box. He can move around the ring. He's just not going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't mean that literally. I mean, yeah, both of them are going to move gradually. They're going to move a little bit. It just ain't going to be, you know, constant movement. You know what I mean? So
yes, sir.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I see some knockdowns in this fight. You know, I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see knockdowns or even a knockout in this fight. It should be an exciting fight. And once again, man, shout out to Al Heyman. He is killing it with matchmaking. You know what I'm saying? PBC. Shawn Porter versus Danny Garcia, you know, Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter, and I'm not even, you know, scratching the surface when it comes to all these fights. But Money, let's go ahead and catch up and talk about Adonis Stevenson getting a draw against Badu Jack. I was out there, I covered that fight. Extremely close fight, I thought. Your thoughts on who you thought won the fight, and basically, just break it down, summarize that fight.
Okay. I thought that it was a good fight, but I thought that Jack won the fight. It looked like to me that Stevenson started really running out of gas by the end of the fourth round. He just had a look on him. And by the time they got into that fifth round, you could see some things that had changed. Now, he was a little bit ahead, but I think that Jack stole at least one round. And early, and then he just really from round 6 on, or really you can say round 5 on, it was more of him, except for round 11.
Yeah.
And round 10, round 10, when he was clearly hurt with that body shot.
Yeah.
But I thought that Jack won, and you know something, what I always do, and it always tells the truth. Look at the corner and what they're saying. Look at the corner. It's what they're saying. In Stevenson's corner, it had shown you everything. It was pandemonium in that corner. In Jack's corner, they were very calm.
Yeah,
everything's okay. That's another day at the office. Yeah, that's
a good point. And if you just looking at who looked like they were hurt the most during the fight, no doubt about it, Adonis looked like he was hurt the most. I mean, like I said in my video, he was kind of, you know, staggering around the ring like Andre Berto when he fought against Shawn Porter. You know, like it was like the man was just on stanky leg for like a couple rounds. You know, he like, damn, is he still hurt? Is his legs okay? You know, that's kind of how it was with Adonis. I was surprised that he even survived the 12 rounds because, yeah, man, he looked in bad shape in those mid rounds. You know, but
Dante was early on.
Go ahead,
just real quick, man.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, because of the inactivity of Stevenson plus his age, it just makes it a bad deal for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It makes it. I saw an old 40-year-old guy in that ring.
See,
that's what I saw.
And you know what? I'm a reserve judgment on saying that until I see him in his next fight. Well, especially, he'll probably fight Badu again. But
he looked very stiff. He just looked so stiff. His legs, it looked like someone sprayed starch on his legs.
Yeah,
something just completely. It just looked wrong, and I'm like, oh man, I've seen this story. We've seen it plenty of times, but yes, you're right. let's see what happens the next time. But he needs to be active. He doesn't need to fight once a year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And he had never fought anyone as good as Badu Jack either.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's something else, because once again, he looked good in this fight. And then, Badu, credit to him because he's always improving. He was catching them with some good shots. He was consistent once the motor started rolling. Once he finally got them wheels turning after the second, third round, he was consistent with his attack. So, yeah, man, I feel it was close enough to go either way. I could see them giving it to Badu slightly, but at the same time, I don't complain about a draw because I feel that Badu, he allowed it to be a little closer than it should have been.
He did.
Totally agree.
Yep.
I totally agree.
Yeah, man. So let me go ahead and take another call real quick. Let me see here. Okay, we got 323. I know who this is too. This what's going on, Reggie?
What's happening, Nation, man? Glad to hear you guys back on the line, man.
All day, man. Man, it feel like it was forever, man.
What's happening?
Long overdue. What's happening, Money Pal? What's happening, Jimmy?
It's okay, Reg. It's all good, bro.
What's up, man?
That was it. At the fight, man, it was good to see the Money team, man, pay you your due, recognize you for the work you do. I was happy to hear that, man.
Good looking out, man. And since you just mentioned it, man, shout out to the Money team. Shout out to Floyd Mayweather for, man, putting it out there, in detail, showing, giving me my props and endorsing me. I appreciate that. And Leonard Ellaby, I appreciate Leonard, as well, man. So yeah, that's what it is. So matter of fact, man, we gonna try to get Floyd in the studio, so that's what we want to do now. We want to get him in the studio and let you guys call him up and chop it up, with TBE. So that's the plan, man. That is the plan. So, but go ahead though. Anything else?
I want to touch on the Jack fight, man. That's the fight I've been waiting for all year, and it lived up to
expectations. Yeah.
And I think that judgment was a poor judgment, man. But it was hard in a close fight like that to take the champion's belt in his own home. So I think that's the reason why we came to that result. So.
Yeah.
But like,
good point.
But like Money said, if you listen to the corners, man, right after the fifth round, even the coaches was really getting into Adonis's ass about, pacing himself. You can see with fatigue. Now, I think a lot of the fatigue, I don't think it came from age, but it came in from Badu was stronger than what Stevenson expected because early in that fight, he did try to muscle Badu Jack, and Jack ended up having the weight room a little bit, and I kind of think that extra muscle and strength that Jack came in with kind of did his due as far as wearing Stevenson down the way it did.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I agree with you. Like I said before, I don't think it's a fatigue thing, not yet. Once again, I got to see him doing this consistently with different type of opponents. But we've never seen him do that with lesser competition. We've seen him look like that against your boy Badu. Here, let me see. I'm gonna try to take a look at the comments real quick before we. Because guys, I'm over here operating all kind of stuff, so I don't always have time to look at the comments. Let me take a glimpse right now. Hey, what's going on to my girl L Flowers? One of my moderators that holds it down, and she be sending me a lot of the news, so I appreciate you, L Flowers. Here, let me see what y'all talking about over here. Y'all talking about all kind of stuff. Oh, they still laughing at your sprayed starch reference, Money. Yeah, let me see here. Stevenson got that left hand jackhammer. Okay. Yeah. And this one dude in the comment section, he said Dante picking Porter for sure, right? So, I would like him to call in and tell me who he's picking since he just said that. But since he brought that up, and it's funny because he makes it sound as if nobody is supposed to pick Porter. You know what I'm saying? Like if you pick Danny Garcia, that's normal. That's normal to pick Danny Garcia. Oh, but if you pick Porter, what's wrong with you black folks? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that was the point he was making. Oh, you black folks.
Right.
I know your black ass went out and watched Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what he's saying. Even though we know the whole world done watched Black Panther and broke all the damn records. Right. So, but yeah, like I said, I would like, hey, my man PR, I would like you to call in, man, and tell me who you think is going to win that fight before I break it down. That is a real competitive fight. And let me shout out one of my members in that DBN tank. Let me introduce my man Julio L. What did he say? He said, hopefully Oscar is not doing a bogus talk on that opponents for Canelo busting the Bob Arum stuff. Okay. Now I just read that right there, and Canelo busting the Bob Arum stuff. Doing some, I guess he said Canelo trying to do some Bob stuff. Did you catch what he was saying right there, Money?
Not really.
Okay. Hopefully Oscar is not doing a bogus talk.
Something coming out about Oscar trying to pull away. You know, he's trying to yank Triple G and him over this rematch thing over all the bad press that's been coming out of it. So I think that's probably what he's speaking on.
Okay, but it threw me off when he brought up Arum, because Bob don't have nothing to do with the Golovkin situation, unless he was talking about Tom Loeffler.
The tactics, I think.
Yeah, the tactics. Yeah, you may be right. You absolutely. I guess that's what he was saying. Good stuff, Reggie. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, but once again, it was Tom Loeffler. It was Tom Loeffler and Team Golovkin who just recently said that at first they were agreeing to the terms and the split, but now Tom just said Golovkin just recently, just thought about it, and he doesn't like the split anymore. So he had already agreed. So Golovkin had already agreed to the split before, but now since I guess all this happened with the failed test and all that, now he's saying he shouldn't have to bend as much in the rematch. But hey, that's on your boy Golovkin, because after you get done with Canelo, I mean, it's gonna be serious uphill for you. So whatever he decides to do, they in a bad situation. Once again, Golovkin and Canelo, they are in bad situations right now because if either one of them facing the likes of Jamal Charlo, Darren Yevchenko, Danny Jacobs, BJ Saunders, those are all much more difficult fights than them facing each other, I believe. So yeah, man. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but honestly, I really don't think a lot of people care. That fight is so tainted. It's just, I mean, it's just an exhibition now almost. You know what I mean? It's so tainted. It's not even that relevant as far as I'm concerned. I will still watch it. I'll still, watch it today. I can't wait to watch it, but it's not significant anymore as far as I'm concerned. And shout out to my man Blue Blood Sports TV, man. Y'all subscribe to his channel. He part of that DBN tank and that DBN that new media team. He said he showed me some love in the super chat section. I appreciate the donation, family. He said, salute, bro. I got Porter as well. I wish I could be in the building. Oh yeah, man. We gonna have you back on here, man, for sure. Yeah, my man couldn't make it and do the show tonight. We'll get my man Blue Blood Sports back on, so he's picking Porter. Did that dude ever respond back? The dude who said that? I don't think he responded back. Okay. Let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and break down this fight. Money, let's start with you. And guys, I'm gonna take another call in a minute, so I appreciate you guys on hold. We'll take a call right after I talk to Money. So once again, this is a real competitive fight. And I've been thinking about this fight for a while, Danny Garcia versus Porter. And it's like 1 minute, and I'm going to give you guys my pick. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, I am picking Porter. You know what I mean? So yeah, I am picking Porter, but we're going to break all that down. And that's the good thing about us doing this, is we talking boxing. This is not American Idol. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about who you like. We breaking down the weaknesses and flaws, and we gonna do a deep breakdown on this fight right now. So, Money, you break it down first. Who wins this fight and why?
Okay, I have Porter winning the fight. I simply, just to keep it real simple, he will out-hustle Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia's downfall is that he's not fast. He
Okay.
doesn't turn angles that well.
Hold
He's
on,
the guy that stands right there in front of you.
I'm sorry, Money, real quick. The dude I was referring to in the comment section, he said he's going to call in, so I want to tell him, put your area code in the comment section, and I'll go ahead and let you call in, man. Okay, go ahead, Money. Sorry.
Okay. I just see Danny Garcia doing okay in spots, but just overall, he's going to get out hustled because I don't see him throwing one of those great right hands that he has and actually putting Porter on the canvas. I just don't see that happening. I see him with his back to the ropes. At some point around about the fourth round on, he's going to stay right there, man. He's going to get chopped on. He's going to get chopped on.
Okay. Yeah.
He's going to get out hustled.
And
that's what I see happening.
And once again, and you know what? Wait, so it's 413. Is that the dude who called in earlier? Is that? Oh, okay. I guess 413. That's the dude who called in earlier. The one who said that Mikey Garcia was going to annihilate Robert Easter. It's the same guy. Okay, but let me go ahead and put him back on real quick. All right. So Saul, that's you, right? So you PR in the comment section. Saul 413.
Yo, what's going on, man? The call back, that ain't done.
All right, so are you the one that are you PR the dude PR something in the comment section? Is that you?
Nah, I ain't even in the comment section.
Oh, you're not in the comment section. Okay, so he ain't called in yet. Okay.
No. I called in earlier. Yeah, I called in earlier. Mike Garcia, remember? No.
I know. No, what I'm saying though is there was a guy in the comment section we was talking about, and I told him to call in and give us his prediction on Danny versus Brandon, and I asked him what his area code was. He said it was 413. So you're 413.
That's the same one as mine.
Yeah, it's the same. Hold on for a second, Saul. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm gonna get back to you, man. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna wait. So he hasn't called in. Okay, but we'll wait to see if he calls in. But once again, let me go back to my breakdown. It's kind of similar to yours, Money. Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's the pressure. The thing I look back at the Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios fight. Now the Brandon Rios fight was supposed to be an extremely easy fight for Danny Garcia. That was supposed to be extremely easy, right? And then Brandon Rios, he gets in the ring. He's extremely slow. He's as slow as molasses compared to Danny, and yet he's still finding success in the fight. And then it got to the point to where Danny, all of us, because at first Danny was swinging for the fences in the first couple rounds, but then all of a sudden Danny started to change a little bit, and he started to show Brandon Rios a lot more respect. And right before Brandon got knocked out, Brandon was in the fight because of his pressure.
Yes, he was.
Because of his aggression. So, I mean, if you look at Brandon Rios' aggression and you look at Shawn Porter's aggression, we know it's nowhere near on the same level. We know that Shawn Porter is levels and levels and levels above Brandon Rios' aggression and IQ. You okay? We seen what Shawn Porter did with Thurman. We seen what he did with Thurman. There was times when they were going back and forth. There was times when they were fighting toe to toe. There were times when they were going back and forth, outboxing each other. So, like I said with Robert Easter, same thing with Shawn Porter. Shawn, not saying they're the same type of fighters, but Shawn can fight on the inside. He can also box. He can show an educated jab. He shows athleticism. Yeah, no doubt about it. He's wild, but the thing is, he's all over you. But this is still a tricky type of fight though, because then I look at Danny Garcia. I look at Shawn Porter versus Granados, and one thing I noticed in that fight is Granados kind of stood up to the bully, and Granados was fighting off Porter. And there was some times when Granados was basically inviting Porter in, he would go toe to toe with Porter, and then Porter would back up. So, and I know Porter would say it was because of the injuries, but I don't know. You know what I mean? So this is why I say this is tricky, because I could see Danny Garcia catching Porter with something and getting Porter's respect, but at the same time it's tricky because Keith Thurman caught Shawn Porter with some stuff, and Shawn kept fighting. So But once again, it's a tricky fight. But if I slightly lean towards anyone, it's Porter, because I believe the aggression will smother all of those big left hooks that Danny Garcia throws. You know, that powerful right hand that he has. I believe a lot of that is going to be smothered. He's going to have to hurry up and try to get them punches off before Porter gets close to him. You know what I mean? This is why not too many people will look good against him. He's going to have to be as sharp as a Kell Brook. And I don't see him being that sharp unless he's going to imply a punch and grab type of tactic, which is possible. Yep. If Danny does that,
hey, Dante,
if he does that, he has his best chance. Go ahead, Money.
I think you just said it. Who has ever looked good against Shawn Porter that defeated him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who looked like they blew him off the rails? Yeah. No one.
Yeah. Absolutely. No one. And every
footwork is way too slow to keep Porter out of his reach. He's just too slow, footwork wise and hand wise.
Yeah. Everyone looked bad. Against Shawn Porter. You know, even Kell Brook looked bad in winning against Shawn Porter. Go ahead.
Yes.
What I will say is, if Danny Garcia is to his best chance of winning is successfully clinch Shawn Porter, and that's going to be very hard to do for Danny Garcia. But if he's successful, I think he can catch Shawn Porter. But I will say that I think Garcia will slightly beat Porter, but it's not going to be easy with all those headbutts and WWE tactics that Shawn Porter do. It's going to be a hell of a fight. So, but I wouldn't be shocked if Porter ended up beating or possibly stopping Danny Garcia.
Yeah. And once again, my man is in the comment section, PR Death. I see he's the one that said, you know, what he said. Do you want to call in? You put your area code down in the comment section. You want to get in on this? It's all free. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to go ahead and call in, go ahead and call in. Once again, just let me know in the comment section if you're going to call in. I believe you said your area code was 413, but you never called in. So once again, we waiting for you to call in. So that's how we do that over here. That's the reason why, I love doing this show, because we could talk to y'all directly. None of that, doing type buys in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Right. You got an opportunity to actually call in and tell us exactly what's on your mind. That's pretty much what it is. Absolutely. They get that free smoke over here all day. All day. So yeah, man. So that's how I see it. Let's take another call, man. Okay, we got 773. What's going on, man? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, I'm Marvin Jackson. I'm calling from Chicago. Can you hear me?
I hear you, man. What's going on, man?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. What's on your mind, man? What's on your mind?
Doing great.
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is the Shawn Porter and Garcia fight. Therefore, actually, the co-main event should be the co-fight should be Kenny Porter against Angel Garcia.
Yeah, for real, huh? That's funny.
Yeah.
You know the build up. You know this is gonna be a great promotion. You already know this. I can't wait to see how Kenny gonna react when Angel come out calling everybody a bunch of niggas. That's what I can't wait to see.
Yeah, he said, me and my son, we some real niggas.
Yeah. That's what I want to see. I can't wait to see how Kenny gonna react when he do that one. But
I got Porter to win that fight.
You got Porter to win that one, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a close fight, but I got Porter.
Yeah, like I said, this is a competitive fight. This is an extremely competitive fight. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how Danny deals with the pressure. Like I said, I don't think Danny looked comfortable with the Brandon Rios pressure, and that was surprising to me. He did not look comfortable with the Brandon Rios pressure, and that was supposed to be the biggest cherry pick of the year. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that was supposed to be Rod Soccer, 2.0. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't. It damn near turned out to be Ali Frazier. So,
yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. We'll see what happens. Hey, but thanks for calling in. All right, man.
I support Dante's Nation.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. 1,000, man. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Yeah, man. Okay, Money. What else? What else we got, Money?
Okay, let's see. Hearn's new plan for boxing distribution.
Absolutely.
Versus pay-per-view.
Big stuff. Big stuff. And break that down so the people that don't understand this deal. Go ahead and speak on that, Money.
Okay, well, Eddie Hearn has come up with this new plan. It's called DAZN, D-A-Z-N. All it is it's nothing but just a way to watch boxing, pay-per-view style. You pay $20 a month, and you watch fights here. You can watch fights across the water as well, But the thing is, here's the things that I think is the problem with it. Okay, and Adrian Broner came across that. You're gonna face a cap.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably not gonna make more than $2.5 million max. With your higher end fighters. So if you're a guy,
no matter how big they are.
Yes, right, because it's going to spread the money across. Just think about it, a big pot. Now, if you have someone coming in there reaching in $10 million, $20 million, it's going to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
But if you cap it out at like maybe $2 million at the most, you can have more fights like that. Well, that's great. But what if you're someone that's a really big-time pay-per-view star? Well, wait a minute. I'm only just getting $2.5 million. No, this guy over here is making, 10, 15 million. I'm worth that kind of money. Well, now you're locked in this deal. You're screwed. That's why I would say, if Eddie was to sign someone, that, like the Charlos or even like Errol Spence, these guys that only just have a manager, it's like, okay, well, yeah, we can do that. However, I want an option in my contract saying if I have a fight over here that I can get $15, $20 million for it, that I'm outside of the box on this one, that I'm just not kept to $2.5 million. Now I can go out there and make, just like when you have those NFL, NBA players that have that option to free agent. It's almost like you're exercising a pay-per-view option within your contract.
Yeah,
in a sense. But he has a good idea. But when, I listened to Richard Schaefer, and Richard said, oh, okay, you pay $240 a year for this plan, but you probably only watch maybe a couple of pay-per-views, some really big ones, maybe $60 a piece. That's $120 versus the $240 that you're actually going to pay. Some people will buy it, some people won't. But we'll see which way it's going to go, though.
We'll see. And I'm glad, once again, you completely broke that down. And before we go on, I want to address one of the decaps in the comment section. Once again, I'm glad, I have the opportunity to expose these cats for what they are. So this guy in the comment section, Alex, he said, of course, right after I said that Angel Garcia, I wonder who he going to call a nigga next. We all know, for those of you guys who don't know, whenever Danny fights against a black fighter, and he only does this whenever Danny is fighting against a black fighter, Angel always calls the black fighter the N-word. He's did this with Zab Judah. He's did this with Keith Thurman. Just for the record, they didn't initiate this. Keith Thurman didn't initiate this. Zab Judah didn't initiate it, right? So after I just said this guy, Alex S., he said Dante is a race baiter, right? So help me understand this. How is it you don't call the guy that calls black people the N-word a race baiter, but you call the guy that reports him calling them that a race baiter? So you don't have a problem with you don't have a problem with black people being called N-words and monkeys and all of that. That don't bother you. That's not race baiting. But if I say that you guys hear what Angel just said about Keith Thurman, that is race baiting. Hey, like I said, Alex, stop, doing your little tight buys and call in. Call in if you truly believe that. So I can go ahead and expose you, because we already know if you got a problem with the people calling the cops on the criminals, but you don't got a problem with the criminals, guess what that make you? That makes you one of the criminals. You see what I'm saying? You don't want it with me because I'm going to give you too much truth. And I'm going to expose you for what you really are. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Let me add this, though. They always do that as a deflection tactic.
Of course
you know
it is.
They don't want to get to the root of the problem.
It's a silence tactic. It's a silence tactic.
Exactly. They want you to take your ass whooping gracefully and not say nothing.
Yeah.
So,
I want everybody.
People need to get to the root of.
Everybody tell this dude Alex to call in. Everyone tell Alex to call in. You know, because he's typing, trying to respond. So if you responding in the comment section, why don't you call up? You know, because it'll take you 3 hours for a conversation we can have in 60 seconds doing all that typing. So go ahead. Exactly. Go ahead. Tell them to call in, y'all. Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead, Jimmer.
Yeah, this is a deflection tactics, and people want us to take our ass whooping gracefully. You know what I'm saying? Call out the problem. Get to the root of the problem first, and you know what I'm saying. And maybe we won't have to say so much about the problem. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing on there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you absolutely. It is a deflection. It's a deflection. What? I mean, just think about what does that actually mean, race baiter, and how is it possible that term is only used towards black people? Did you guys ever notice that? The term is always only used to black people. We see these comments in the comment section every day on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Oh, you niggers. Oh, you monkeys. Oh, you this. People bringing up race for no reason at all. No one ever says, hey, man, why you race baiting? Hey, man, why you playing the race card? They only use this when black people report the racism. So that's an indirect way of saying you're the same as the racist and you want them to shut up and stop complaining. You basically said, that's right, I'm calling you a monkey, but why don't you shut up about it? Because I like saying it. You know what I mean? So you got to be equal opportunity. If you don't like race baiting, then why are you not saying this to the racists? You know, it's once again, man, and this is why he won't call in. This is why this man won't call in, because he's saying, I know you're right, Dante, but I just don't really care too much about black people. And this is therapeutic for me to say this, because this is how I alleviate my own guilt by just saying, shut up. You know, what you're saying is right, Dante, but can you just please not say it? It's like Colin Kaepernick when they say, hey, man, can you go? Did you have to kneel in front of everybody? Why you just didn't go in the bathroom where nobody would see it? You see what I'm saying? It's the same approach. It's the same concept. You know, it's too easy, man.
Agreed.
It's you not.
Agreed, brother.
Yeah, man. I mean, racism is, you know, racist people, they have the intelligence of a kindergartner, you know, a first grader, you know, and that's the whole reason why they won't call in, because they understand this, because you can't really break down hate or ignorance. There's no way you can explain ignorance. You know what I'm saying? All you can do is say, you're right, but shut up. I don't want to hear it. You know, so anyway, yeah, man, let's go ahead and get back into talking. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and take another call, if you will. We got 443. What's going on, man? What's your name? Where you calling from, man?
Hey, what's going on, Dante? It's Hassan from Baltimore.
What's going on, Hassan? What's good, man?
Not much, man. How you feeling tonight?
Oh, man, I'm feeling great, man. Back in Vegas, feeling good, man. What's on your mind?
Good, man. Not much. Hey, how's everybody doing? Mr. Money Powell and everybody else, how y'all doing tonight?
We doing great.
All right about you now.
Yeah, good. Nothing much, Dante. I really ain't got nothing on my mind. I was just listening to your conversation and the race baiting thing, and yeah, they're ridiculous, especially on your comment section, man. I be seeing it, and they don't have the balls to call you.
Yeah,
and admit what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing. I got nothing to say about that one. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, no, but, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. But yeah, go ahead.
That Danny Garcia Shawn Porter fight, did they officially agree to fight?
Yeah, they both agreed, because it was supposed to go to a purse bid, and they canceled the purse bid because both fighters agreed to face each other. And they're saying that the fight will most likely be around August 25th and it'll be in Brooklyn, of course, Barclays Center. But it hasn't been officially announced yet. But we got over the biggest hump, which is them agreeing to face each other. So that's what we're looking for right now. Yeah. So
okay, will it be for the WBC title?
Yeah, it'll be for the WBC title. Absolutely, it'll be for the WBC title.
Okay, and then and Keith Thurman will probably be the mandatory after that.
Yeah, Keith Thurman will be. Well, that's a good question. I mean, that's most likely what will happen. I'm sure they'll go ahead and grant him, that position, that status. So that's pretty much what it is, man. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to give my opinion on the fight, who I think. But when I agree with you guys' points as far as Danny Garcia's foot movement being too slow too slow for Shawn Porter, I agree. I think he will out hustle him. I think he'll definitely try. He out hustles everybody basically, unless you tie him up or try to keep him from the outside. I think Kell Brook, he was successful with tying and jabbing and using a straight right. And as soon as Shawn Porter tried to bum rush him, he hurried up and tied him up. I don't think Danny Garcia is as skilled as a boxer as Kell Brook or Keith Thurman. However, I got a feeling that if they go hand to hand, Danny Garcia, he likes to throw body shots. And then he usually has a history of throwing low body shots because he kind of
wings them. He wings them, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I got a feeling he can actually do some work with the body shots, and he's starting to show a little bit of effectiveness when it comes to a straight right, and sometimes he'll throw a jab. I have a feeling I'm going to pick Danny. I think it's going to be a close fight, but I think I'll go with Danny in that fight.
Yeah, and once again, it's that type of fight. It's that type of fight. Like I said, I mean, I look at sometimes I look at the Porter Granados fight, and sometimes I say, man, does this mean Danny is going to win? And then I look at the Danny Brandon Rios fight, and I say, does this mean Porter is going to win? But once again, going back to the fact that I truly believe Porter is going to smother Danny's attacks. He's going to, those like you said, those wide winging shots. You need space to throw those punches. I mean, look at how Broner looked against Porter. Broner usually looks real good in the ring, regardless if he wins or loses. He usually looks good. That was an ugly fight when Broner fought against Shawn Porter. Because why? Because Porter is going to close the distance and smother you. You know what I mean? And you're going to be forced to either do what Granados did, which credit to Granados, because Granados didn't rely on the tie, tying him up and holding him. He didn't rely on holding. He actually stood there and fought toe to toe in the trenches with Porter. Other fighters are forced to tie him up. You know what I mean? So with that being said, yeah, man. Like I said, I see Porter swarming him. The only reason. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, Dante. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying the only way I kind of see Danny winning this fight is if he catches him, with one punch, a one-hitter quitter or something like that, and he goes to sleep like Brandon Rios did. We'll see.
Okay. So Danny Garcia, has he ever? I do not recall him ever fighting a pressure fighter like Shawn Porter. Can you think of anybody has ever?
Yeah, he's never. Like Lucas Matisse was one. I say, but Lucas Matisse was not a swarmer like Porter per se. He was an aggressive fighter, but he didn't stick his head on your chest. He was more like a bob and weave. Yeah, he was more like a bob and weave, pop up with a hook, pop up with a he's more conscious with what he does. Porter just jumps all over you, doesn't give you a chance to think or breathe. So that's the closest opponent I would say to Shawn Porter was Lucas Matisse. So and something else, I think Reggie. And my bad, Reggie. I'll let you go, but my bad, Reggie. But something else Reggie said earlier. I think it was Reggie or it was Jimmy, but talked about how Porter is good with fighting in the clinch, and that reminds me of when Porter fought against Paulie Malignaggi. He was all over Paulie. Paulie was trying to tie him up, and he was catching Paulie while he was trying to hold him. So it's uphill. This is going to be a tough fight for Danny, man. This is going to be a really.
Oh, yeah.
And Danny didn't. And realistically, you know, Danny did not want this fight right now, at least from the interview I did with him, because Danny told me, you know, he feels that he wants fights like that to build up. You know, he said that in one of my interviews that I did with him. He said he wants fights like that to build up, but those fights are already built up. The meat has been marinating for days, weeks. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, all these fights are ready. You know, him against Errol Spence, already marinated. You know, him against Shawn Porter, well marinated. So, with that being said, I truly believe Angel Garcia might have a heart attack in the corner too while he's yelling at Danny, because you know that's one thing about Angel. He's passionate, man, and you know when things are not going well. When we were talking about that earlier, Money, right, with the Adonis fight, you really know things are not going well. Oh, yeah. When Angel get real animated and come on, man, you know, what are you doing? Whatever. He was doing that because we seen him start to do that in the Brandon Rios fight. He started to do that, you know, like you could see that he was like seeing the fight tighten up. And man, like I said, he might have a heart attack in that Shawn Porter fight because there's going to be some drama. There's going to be some drama in that fight. So, it's going to be. And I want to touch.
I'm just saying it's going to be ugly.
Yeah,
you're right.
And I want to touch on something else too, because this dude, the dude Alex, everybody told him to call in. Of course, he was afraid to call in, so he didn't call in. And I want to say this. Now, when you trolling, when you gang banging in the comment section, if we just talking boxing, you could disagree all you want. But when you start throwing rocks, when you start doing tight buys and drive-bys and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to put pressure on you to either call in or I'm going to block you, okay? Because you're not talking boxing anymore. You know, you're making this extremely personal. It's going past boxing. So that's when you call me in directly, you know, because I could just be like, oh, you throwing rocks, I'm just going to block you. No, those are the ones I want to call in. And the reason why I'm saying this is because some guy in the comment section tried to defend the guy, because I guess my moderators was talking about blocking him. And I'm telling my moderators right now, if they throwing rocks and it's getting personal and they don't want to call in, block their ass. Tell them to call in. If they give them about 5, 15, whatever minutes. If they don't want to call in, block their ass. You know what I mean? But someone tried to defend this guy. Someone tried to defend him and say, hey, why block him? You know, isn't that what a debate is about? Why block someone for disagreeing with you? Once again, there's a difference from disagreeing when we're talking about boxing and someone just, you know, throwing rocks. It's just personal, you know, trying to break your window with the rock. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Call in. And you're not going to call in because you know that the shit that you come up with is going to get debunked. You know what I mean? And you know damn well you're going to fucking end up having to agree with everything that logically makes sense. Because you can only say stuff that doesn't make sense when you're talking to the wall. Because if you're talking to the wall, everything makes sense, right? When you're in the comment section, you know, you got nobody really. Of course, people typing back, but it's not the same thing as having an actual conversation. That's why they fill up the comment section, but they will not call in. You have an opportunity to call me up directly right now. You ain't got to wait 6 days. Nothing. You could call in directly if you truly believe the stuff that you were saying. If you don't believe it, you're not going to call in, and it's just that simple. So, that's pretty much what that is. Let me see. Money, what else we got, man? Because we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap it up in a minute. But what else do we...
Well, just to put something out there, the heavyweight, new prospect heavyweight coming up, signed to Ringstar, Ifa Agjaba, his impressive KO
F.A.? Is it F.A.? Is it F.A.?
F.A.
Yeah.
F.A.
Yeah.
F.A.
Another Nigerian nightmare.
Man. He collected that guy like taxes. He did.
Hey, seriously. Yeah, seriously, guys. And I'll put the link up later on. But his name is F.A. Ajaba, and he's fighting on PBC. That was a PBC card he fought on, right?
That was a PBC card. That's correct.
Yeah.
There's another guy. There's another guy out of Georgia. His name is Michael Williams Jr. He's 4-0 with 4 KOs. He's coming up. Yeah, he's a super lightweight. And I'm going to see if I can send some footage of him. and possibly for you to, have him on your show.
Of course.
It's up and coming.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, that's what we want to do, man. But shout out, and FA is from Nigeria, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, also, he does have another guy that they're both signed to Ringstar. His name is F.A. Apochi. Okay. Now, he's 4-0 with 4 KOs. He stopped his opponent last night, I think, in the 3rd round. He hit him he's more like George Foreman. He's a cruiserweight, but his style is kind of like a George Foreman. He hit his opponent with a good right hand, and the guy went face first to the canvas. So, it's pretty.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. He nailed him.
Oh, we got it, man. Like I said, we're going to get all these dudes on the show, Money. We're going to get all these dudes on the show. Money.
Yeah, Michael Williams, I'm sorry. Michael is from North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I keep thinking Georgia. He's North Carolina, though.
Okay, shout out to Mikey Williams, man. And FA, that's the one you interviewed, right? That's the one that you interviewed, right? The one with the kind of the dreads. Okay, just making sure. So look out for these fighters right here, guys. And once again, we're gonna have all these fighters, on the show. And any up and coming prospects, because I get a lot of emails and everything. If you guys any promoters out there, managers, if you got some undefeated prospects or just some up and coming fighters about to make their debut or whatever, you guys can always contact me at Dante'sBoxingNation@gmail.com, and we'll get them on the show. Okay, so that's
Dante.
Go ahead, Money.
Just one other part too. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to get any footage from Haymaker Promotions because they're the ones that had money to go over there and fight in London.
Oh,
but
man, yeah.
With him scoring that 4th round stoppage over his opponent, beautiful counter uppercut shot to the guy's gut, and he went right down. He got back up, only to get hit with some more shots. Money nailed him with a solid right hand. The guy literally, his legs buckled, and the guy shook his head and walked away. And when he did that, the referee called it.
He called it off.
He called it off. Yeah.
Congratulations to Money Powell, son, another undefeated prospect. Like you just said, just won another fight, got another knockout. Money Powell III. Once again, guys, Money Powell IV. Once again, guys, if you guys have not watched Money's son, I have his highlights on my channel, okay? Some vicious knockouts, him sparring and just knocking cats out left and right. Some real impressive stuff on my channel. Matter of fact, I already have the link in the description box. Let me look. Yep, it's there. So just go to my description box right now. The videos are there right now. All right, so check him out if you guys haven't already checked him out. He's somebody you guys got to keep your eyes out, keep looking out for. He'll eventually be at 160. He's a big boy, right, Money? Or is he already?
Yes.
Is he already at 160?
He's at 160. We're trying to hold him at 160. Actually, he walks about. He walks. If people would call him today a weight bully, as they call it, he's, yeah.
He Debo. You say he Debo, huh?
Yeah, man. He walks around. He's about 175. He comes down. He slims down to 160 though.
So by the end of his career, he could easily end up at light heavyweight, probably.
Easy.
By the end of his career.
Easy.
Yeah. No,
I would say your son is a natural middleweight at that thing, because a lot of natural middleweights walk around at 175.
You're
180.
right. Yeah,
Well,
you're
I
right.
say
That's true.
Middleweight.
That is true, but we he started out as a super welter, but he was already dangling on the fence right then. And you make a good point, but we're just looking at him now. I mean, he has to work harder to stay at 175 in order to get down to 160. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay.
But now he's on a good diet plan, and we found some things out. Now he's able to get to 160 like nothing. So it's like, oh, okay, all right.
And for everybody just tuning in, we are talking about Money Powell. Yeah, he's an undefeated prospect, one of the best prospects, knockout artist, fighting at 160. And it's my man, Money Powell III, who's on one of our, team DBN, one of the panelists, is his son. So for those guys who don't know, Money Powell III is a former fighter and an up-and-coming broadcaster. and his son is an undefeated prospect, man. So that's what it is.
Thanks a lot for the shout out.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Congratulations to your son once again, man. You already know, man. I can't wait to put it up on the channel, man. If we ever get it, so
most definitely.
Yeah, and shout out to my man Ash Kicking Products. They're in the comment section. My proud sponsors. They're the reasons why I could travel and cover these fights, because they show love and sponsor Dante's Boxing Nation. He said in the comment section, Money Powell IV is Ash Kicking #1 prospect. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. So yeah, let me see. Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, best prospects hands down. Okay, and we got to shout out to Shakur and Teo. We got to get both of them on the show. Yeah, that's what it is. But anyway, man,
they are nice. No denying that they are nice. Yes.
Did you seen Teo's last fight too, right? You seen Teo?
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what did you think about? Because he got a knockout. He got a knockout in that fight, right? So
yes, he did. Got overhand right, more or less like right towards right over the top of that ear, and it just put Freitas to the canvas, and that was it. It was all over real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And funny story. Like I said, I remember Teofimo and his dad. They were talking to Angel Garcia, and I said this before. I'm gonna bring it up again. And they was just trying to pick Angel Garcia's brain and everything, and getting his advice and everything. And Angel was walking away from him, and he was like, "You guys with who you guys with? You guys with Al Haymon?" He was like, "Who you guys with?" He said, "No, we were Top Rank." And Angel just looked at them for a minute like he was puzzled, and he said, "Get with Al Haymon," and he just walked away. So once again, that just goes to show you how well Al Haymon is treating these fighters. You got Angel telling other fighters signed to Top Rank, get with Al Haymon. You got Robert Garcia saying that Al Haymon, they treated them better than any other promoters they dealt with. You got Leo Santa Cruz, who named his son after Al. You know what I'm saying? So this just goes.
That's big.
Yeah, that's big, right? So this gives you an idea of how it's going down over there at PBC, and all of the best fights. PBC has something to do with it. Al Haymon has something to do with it. He's even starting to branch over to HBO. You know what I mean? And once he does that, it's really a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, man. That's monopoly all day. So yep, and Regis Prograis is a beast as well, man. But anyway,
wow.
Yeah, I see somebody brought that up in the comment section. Once again, shout out to everybody that donated in the super chat section. You guys are also the reason why I'm able to continue these live streams, so I appreciate that. My man Julio L donated again. He said, "Is Eddie Hearn signing Thurman or just rumors?" Did you hear anything about that, Money or Jimmy?
No.
Okay.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one, Julio. But I'll keep my ears close, to the boxing media world. You know what I mean? And we'll see what's going on that right there, man.
Hey, but Dante. Yeah, just real quick, another topic too. About Gervonta Davis, Old Tank, and Tevin Farmer. As we were discussing, if it is not good for Farmer to step into the ring with Tank, this will do him no good. As a matter of fact, I see him getting destroyed. He does not have the type of tool set to keep Tank away from him. He's going to get eaten up like Pac-Man. I don't really see it happening any other way. I like Farmer, I really do, but I do not see him being able to outmaneuver Tank. I just don't see it. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it, though.
That'll be a very, very tough fight for Tevin Farmer to win. And I don't like to, I'm not really playing the triangle type of, theory. But, I mean, when you look at what Tank did to, what's the Puerto Rican? What's his name on Money? The one that they both fought, the one that Tevin lost to, and
Cuevas.
No,
like
not Cuevas. No, the first title, the tall, undefeated Puerto Rican that knocked out Tevin Farmer. You know who I'm talking about, Jimmy, right? Y'all tell me in the comment section.
Pedraza.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Okay.
Yeah, so Pedraza, you look at what Tank did with Pedraza, and you look at the fact that Pedraza knocked out Tevin Farmer, and it was the way he did it. You know, it's not just a knockout; it was how he did it. You know, Tevin Farmer looked good like in the first round, the first 2 rounds, but Pedraza was walking him down, putting a lot of pressure on him, and then he stopped him. He got him out of there. So, yeah, I mean, that's just one angle. There's many different angles and reasons why Tevin is going to have an uphill battle going up against Gervonta Tank Davis. You know, so we will see. And my man, shout out another donation, my man Christopher Smith. I guess he's from the UK. He said what did he say? Boxing don't mix with streaming, only movies, music. So that would be live streaming too. Is that live streaming that it's going to be?
Yeah, it would be a live stream.
It would be live streaming. Oh, and so you pay $20 a month or whatever for unlimited live streams.
Right. You know, just like you.
So
have,
it's like a box, like a box of Netflix, basically, is what it is. Kind of like.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I got you. Well, yeah, we'll see how that's
going.
Can
I make an announcement as well?
Go ahead, man.
What's
Go ahead.
I would like to make an announcement on the Bantamweight Championship. All 4 champions in the Bantamweight division will be fighting in the next Super Series. So they'll be the first undisputed champion in Bantamweight since Enrique Pender of Panama in 1972.
Good.
So if that ends up happening.
Good stuff, Jimmy. Good stuff. Just the monster in there. We got to get my man. We got to get Dwayne Beeman to talk about that because Inoue is in that tournament too, right? So, man,
yes, sir. That's all 4 champions.
That's gonna be a good tournament right there, man. That's gonna be a good tournament right there. We gonna see what's gonna happen. And before we end the show, man, we got some new cats that just jumped in that DBN tank, man, which I appreciate you guys showing that love in the super chat section. Let me go ahead and read what y'all talking about before we wrap this up. My man Kevin Stenhouse, he said, "What's the status on GG?" Oh yeah, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Kevin. That was one of the main topics we were supposed to talk about. Yeah, what's the topic on GG IBF meeting for the belt? We're gonna talk about that before we wrap it up since you just brought that up. Good looking, Kevin. And thanks for the donation. And my man T Shells, he said, who do you think is the best pound for pound right now? T Shells. Like I said, man, I think, let me just say that real quick. I think it's Terrence Crawford because I think if we talking about who deserves it, Lomachenko or Terrence Crawford, you guys have to remember Lomachenko had an opportunity to fight Terrence Crawford. I mean, let's just be realistic about this. Like I said, we've seen Shane Mosley jump up 2 weight classes. We've seen Roberto Duran jump up 2 weight classes. Shane beat Oscar De La Hoya. Roberto, he beat Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, Rigo tried to move up 2 weight classes. He lost to Lomachenko. So when you are a fighter that people are calling great, then you know, Lomachenko, he could have at least fought Terrence Crawford at a catchweight, and that would have really, you know, decided who was the best pound for pound. So the fact that Terrence Crawford continues to move up in weight, you know, and he's just as dominant in every new weight class. He doesn't look exposed. He doesn't look, you know, more mortal or anything like that. You would have to give it slightly to Terrence Crawford, but I believe it's close. I believe it's extremely close. You know, I believe Loma is up there with him, though. I believe Loma's up there with him, but once again, you know, I give it to Crawford by a nose. That's my take on that. And before we talk about Golovkin, your take on the pound for pound situation and why Money and Jimmy, let's start with you, Money.
Actually, I give it to Terrence Crawford as well because he has moved up a few weight classes and he has dominated along the way. He's left no question about any opponent that he's been in front of. That is my reason why he's number one. Pound for pound.
Absolutely, man. Your thoughts on that, Jimmy?
I think Terrence Crawford is pound for pound, hands down, because not only he's been lineal champion or undisputed champion in every weight class he's been in, I think we gotta respect Undisputed more in boxing as well. When you clean out a division the way he did, you got to make that guy pound for pound. You know what I'm saying? For sure. And he would really be, if he goes undisputed in welterweight, you got to talk about him being in the top 10 all time.
No doubt about it. That would mean he would have to beat Errol Spence. I mean, you move up to the highest weight class you've ever been at, and you beat Errol Spence. Oh yeah, he up there chilling with Floyd Mayweather, and Ali. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if he pulls that off, I'm just saying, because that's a hell of a man. And once again, man, when you look at the fighters, and this brings us into the Golovkin situation, his conundrum, because when you look at the contrast, you got Terrence Crawford. He's calling out Errol Spence. Nobody calls out Errol Spence. He's sending Errol Spence direct messages on Instagram or whatever. I mean, the balls on this man, the confidence that this man has. By way of contrast, when you look at Triple G doing the complete opposite, which brings us into this whole IBF situation with his mandatory. Right. Do you think Terrence Crawford would have avoided his mandatory to fight Vanes Martirosyan? Can you imagine what the media would have said? Imagine if he didn't fight Victor Postal and he fought someone who hadn't fought in 2 years, that wasn't even ranked and never had even fought in that division before and was never even ranked. Can you imagine what they would say about him? You know what I mean? So you guys have to look at that stuff. And Golovkin has never been in the ring with the level of competition that Terrence Crawford has been in there with. He certainly has never moved up in weight to fight against an undefeated African long, fighter who's a champion, et cetera, et cetera. He's never done these things before. So going back to the situation, for those of you guys who haven't been following the dilemma that Golovkin has, now remember, everybody was trying to defend Golovkin, saying he wants to be unified. Shut up and leave him alone. He doesn't have to do anything. His dream is to be unified. Leave him alone and shut up. This is what the fans they just kept saying this for years. That was their main defense. Leave him alone because he wants to unify the belts. Now all of a sudden, now that the mandatories are getting tougher, now Golovkin, his trainer just recently said, unifying the belts is no longer the priority. He said the priority now is to just stay active. That means fight Vanes Martirosyan. That means fight, whoever that's not considered the biggest threats in the middleweight division, right? Just stay active. It don't even matter. Legacy doesn't matter. Unifying belts don't matter. Just keep fighting, no matter who it's against. And coincidentally, Bob Arum said something similar of what he wanted Lomachenko to do. He said, we don't care about the Mikey Garcia fight. He said the most important thing is to keep Mikey Garcia active. That's what he just recently said too. So it's kind of crazy. But anyway, so Sergey Derevyanchenko is Golovkin's #1 mandatory. He was supposed to fight Sergey instead of fighting Vanes Martirosyan. Now the IBF gave him a pass, and now the IBF and Sergey's people, they're already trying to sue. I won't say sue, but they're threatening to either have him stripped some kind of way if he's not going to fight them next. They're not allowing Golovkin to fight Canelo first in September. They want their shot now. So now Golovkin, Tom Loeffler said that they were supposed to, or not Tom Loeffler, but it was reported they were supposed to meet up with the IBF a couple days ago to decide if they're going to get stripped or not. We haven't heard anything yet. So to me, that's not a good sign. I mean, because it sounds like, I don't know, man. It sounds like the palms, need to be more greased or something like that. I hope that's not the situation. Hopefully, this is why we need more of a commission in the sport, a real commission in the sport of boxing, where you can't just bend the rules. You can't just call up the IBF organization, the WBC, and say, hey guys, can we work this out some kind of way? I know these are the rules, but can we kind of bend the rules if we do this and we do that? No. You're supposed to defend the titles. That's why you're called a champion. How are you going to be a champion if you don't defend your belts?
I agree.
It's not logically adding up, you know. So we're going to find out what's going to happen. But once again, you know, I have a feeling they're going to allow, because the way Tom is talking, because Tom keeps talking about the Canelo fight. He ain't saying nothing about Sergey. So we know that they're not going to fight Sergey at all. They're not fighting him at all. I wouldn't even be surprised if they don't fight him, even if they don't get the Canelo fight. They may still not fight him, you know? So, you know what? And I had these guys on hold for a while. I'll take another call before we get up out of here. Somebody else show another donation from my man T Shells. I appreciate it, man. Joining that DBN tank. He said TC has skills. I want to see him in Spence. Yeah, man, that's Sugar Ray Leonard and Hearns being built up right now. You know, you could say Sugar Ray Leonard Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard Hagler, you know, any of them four. You know, it's that type of fight. So let's go ahead and, like I said, once again, we're gonna get up out of here in a minute, but let's try to take another call. The phones are still lit, and I can't take every call. But 432, we got 432. What's going on, man?
What's happening, Dante? This Mo G. I'm calling you from Midland, Texas, which is in the middle of the West Texas desert. It's hot as hell out here, and I'm drilling oil well.
What's going? Hey, you talking about that swamp hot? You talking about that sticky mosquito?
Bro,
Mosquitoes sticking. Yeah, they sticking to your skin before they can even bite you. Huh?
I'm talking no humidity, Las Vegas heat. But the reason I called you, bro, is because I'm from New Orleans originally. I called you because I met Jermell Charlo at Fight in El Paso on April 28th. And I'm a fan of his. I like the dude. But his demeanor and how he is, I really understand why people are afraid to fight him, bro. The dude is serious.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's a little more serious than his brother Jamal. They're both serious, but Jamel has this vibe about him that could be misunderstood. He's really a fighter, bro. There's no getting around it. The dude's a fighter, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to ask you, are you going to be at the fight in Dallas?
I will be there, man. 16th? Already,
I'm going to find you. I'm going to be on the floor, bro. I'm going to find you, and we're going to rap.
For sure, man. For sure, man.
I'm going to miss the Regis Prograis fight. I'm so upset, but I can't make it between work and life. You know what I'm saying? But Regis is high on my radar because he's a homeboy. You know, he's from my hometown where I grew up. You know, you're always going to pull for, you know, the person where you from. But Terrence Crawford also called out Regis Prograis. Did you know that?
See, no, I didn't. He called out Prograis too?
In the interview with Prograis said, yeah, man, Terrence Crawford looked at me and said, I'm going to fuck you up, excuse my language. And he told him the same thing. Well, I'm going to do the same thing to you. So I think Terrence Crawford is another one of those fighters that he's extremely hungry. I can't wait to see him knock out this bum here pretty soon. And another thing I meant to tell you, I should have opened up with this, but Mr. Money Powell, your son is a cut above the rest, bro. And when I watch his interviews, I listen to that kid speak, I love him more and more when I hear him, man. So y'all keep
Thank
up
you
the
so
work.
much.
God
I'll let him know
bless
that.
side, and I hope y'all get nothing but knockouts.
All day.
With that being said, in the future, I want to see him and that boy Jaime Munguia fight.
Ooh. What you hear? What you think about that, Money? That's
him and Munguia.
We didn't talk about that fight either. Yeah, congratulations to Jaime on that win.
I'll be ringside at that one, my friend. If I got
we might get.
I'll be there.
We probably gonna have to watch Jaime against Jared Hurd before that though. You know, because Jared Hurd called him. Jared Hurd called him out, but I guess Jaime is not ready for Hurd because Jaime is gonna fight. Who is he gonna fight now? He's supposed to fight some.
Liam Smith.
Who is it?
Oh, he's
Liam
Smith.
You sound.
Don't be surprised.
You sound a little muffled. You guys sound a little muffled. Huh?
Don't be surprised if they throw that kid in there with Canelo Alvarez.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense because if you really think, it makes sense because if Canelo, Liam Smith, okay, yeah, because you guys sound kind of muffled, but because if Canelo's options are only Jamal Charlo, Danny Jacobs, B.J. Saunders, or Demetrius Andrade, and then Jaime Munguia, who you think he's gonna fight? You know what I mean?
He's gonna fight Jaime.
Yeah, he's gonna fight.
He's got a belt.
But you know what? To Canelo, right. But I will say this: I'll play Canelo's advocate. They did say, well, at least Oscar said it. Oscar said if there's no Canelo fight, they're looking at Danny Jacobs or Billy Joe Saunders next. So that's what Oscar said.
And I'm fine with that. I'm just.
Oh hell yeah, that'll be great. I just don't. It's just hard for me to believe he'll take it.
I'm sick of Canelo. I'm sick of Triple G. I think there's a lot more fighters out there we need to really be paying attention to. But like you said, that dude's holding on to these belts, and he don't want to fight nobody.
He holding them hostage. But he doing the same thing Pacquiao was doing. He doing the same thing Pacquiao was doing. Pacquiao tried, and the karma got to Pacquiao.
But another fighter, two fighters I want to see live. I've already seen Spence once. I'm going to see him again. I gotta see Jermell and I gotta see Hurd. I like both of them dudes.
Yeah.
And I gotta see Little Money Powell as well. But I'm on the fence on who would win that fight between Hurd and Charlo.
Yeah, that between Hurd and Charlo, that's a tough.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one, man. Because once again, that pressure of Hurd, man, and versus the skill and technique of Charlo. I mean, it's easy to look good against Hurd for the first 6 rounds, but what happens if Hurd is still there? Now it's a different type of matchup. Stop. It's a different type of fight in the second half. So yeah, man. Your will is really tested when you in there against Hurd. So
I agree.
And we're gonna get shout out to Hurd too, man, because he asked for one of the DBN shirts, man. So we gonna get you out a shirt, family, for sure. We gonna get him. We gonna get him on the show too, and have him talk about that.
Well,
but
I just got one more thing to say. When I was a kid growing up, I'm 42 years old. I'm from New Orleans, and Sugar Ray fought in New Orleans a couple of times. And I remember going to the daggone weigh-in and all that as a little kid. That era of boxing was great, but I believe now we are re-entering that era of boxing again.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
From 135 all the way to heavyweight, man. It's really an exciting time to be into the sport, bro.
Man, and I'm glad.
I agree.
Good stuff, bro. Hey, but thanks for your call. All right, man.
I appreciate it, Dante. When I see you in Dallas, we're gonna rap, bro.
For sure. What's your name again? So I remember you. What's your name again?
Mo G.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I'll see you out there, family. All right,
brother.
Take care, man.
Take care.
And I want to just touch on what he just said when it comes to this being, a great era of boxing. The type of, like I said, the type of Leonard Hearns, Leonard Duran fights are back. Because when you look at Danny Garcia versus Shawn Porter, that's like Hagler versus Duran or something. And then once again, you're gonna have Errol Spence against one of them cats. But once again, credit to Al Heyman, because if you really think about it, it's really only fighters like Canelo, to be honest with you, it's really only fighters like Canelo until they prove me wrong. Canelo, but mainly Golovkin, while everyone else is trying to fight everybody. You got Errol Spence want to fight everybody. You got Deontay Wilder want to fight everybody. You got Terrence Crawford want to fight everybody. They're so desperate to prove they're the best, right? And then you got, while we getting all these great matchups, you got Golovkin fighting Bonas Martirosyan. You know what I mean? When how often do we see a mismatch like that in a main event on a PBC card? We don't see that too often.
No, you don't.
We do not see that too often. And I can guarantee you, even when we do see any type of mismatch, Al Heyman is trying to push those fighters to fight other fighters, and the fighter himself decides. He says, no, Al, I want to fight this guy, because I know for a fact Al has been trying to make the Danny Garcia fight versus Spence, versus Thurman rematch, versus Shawn Porter. He's been trying to make those fights. I already know for quite some time, So yeah, man, the sport is in a good place right now. It's definitely in a good place right now. So here, okay, my man Reggie just called back. What's going on, Reggie?
Yeah, what's up, the nation? Oh, hey, and Dante, they got 413. They said call. They keep saying in the comment section.
Oh, 413.
Yeah, they say he finally called in. And the thing.
That's PR. That's PR.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take that. Go ahead, Reggie.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna touch on with the dude saying this is the return of that 60s, 70s era of boxing, and he hit it right on the head. And with that, I always want to segment it to where we have this great moment in the sport where the sport has overshadowed the UFC completely. And then the thing we run into is where we have these promoters who think they are above the damn sport, and they create these law jams, mainly Eddie Hearn. And I'm glad so many of these American fighters see right through that snake, and they have turned them down. But the thing I want to ask, is there any way that Al Heyman can do some type of corporate maneuvering like the 80s, corporate takeover, where he can snatch or force Anthony Joshua to remove Eddie Hearn from the process to get this and that fight with him and Wild is probably going to be the greatest matchup in heavyweight history.
Oh, man.
Is there any way for that to happen?
That's a tough question right there, man. That's a real tough question. But I would like to interview these cats and get more insight, from them when it comes to that, man. But yeah, hey, but good stuff.
Well,
man. Go ahead.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Well, from what I understand, the UK boxing laws are different than the United States boxing laws. For instance, a promoter can act as manager, advisor, and promoter up in the UK, whereas in the United States they cannot do that. So it might be a little more difficult with the UK because they're under a different sanctioning laws, and whereas in the United States or in different states is going to be a little different there.
But can that fighter contract be brought out? That's the other thing I was wondering.
That's the only way that can happen. But Anthony Joshua's not going anywhere. That goes back to loyalty. No. Like when you have Adrian Broner, who is loyal to Al Heyman. Anthony Joshua is loyal to Eddie Hearn. I just don't see that happening.
But Joshua has to wake up because by default, because of how great the fans are out there, Eddie Hearn had nothing to do with building that guy's career. The UK fans are going to always support a dominant heavyweight. And Joshua has to wake up. Eddie Hearn hasn't done a damn thing as far as the rise of his career. It's been based on what he's done in that ring. And the dude has charisma, so even the fans can accept him.
And even the $50 million he about to get that from Al Heyman. He ain't really getting it from.
There you go. Solid point. Yeah, these guys know that. These guys know it, but it's about to me, when I was over in the UK and I was talking to someone there, they are still hung up. Well, a couple of them now are still hung up on the fact of someone about the numbers translating. 90,000 people does not translate into big time millions of dollars a pound. Just like, but I even explained to one of them, I said, what Anthony Joshua makes over there, I said, with that huge crowd, Triple G made the same amount with a much smaller crowd. And I said, Canelo made 3 times the amount. And they were like, wow, for real? I'm like, yeah. Right here in the United States, I said, the money is bigger over here on this side of the water.
Yeah. They don't charge the same amount for pay-per-views, all kind of stuff. I mean,
Right. People over there, they're not going to pay, like 55 pounds for a pay-per-view fight, 60 pounds for a pay. No, anything above 25 pounds, they're running out the door.
Yep.
And that shows the limits of their capabilities of payouts on that side of the water versus here.
Absolutely.
But they do travel here for these fights, though. They with their loyalty, they do follow their combatants over to this land.
Which is,
but the crazy thing is Eddie Hearn trying to reinvent the wheel of roadblocking the fight being held over here. The UK is not an international boxing thing. Like, I'm like, man, this dude just has to be exposed, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what? Like I said, let's just see how this plays out, though. Let's see how this deal plays out. Right. I mean, because I won't say I'm ready to completely, hang them yet, but we'll see. We'll see how it's going to play out. We know what Adrian Broner thought about it. I don't know if it's going to be beneficial for some maybe new fighters, new up-and-coming fighters that's not established like Adrian Broner, but we'll see. But let me get to this call, man. Let me go ahead and get to 413. So, all right, Reggie.
Back to the comment section.
Okay.
Man. Y'all lock it down, man.
Good looking. All right, Reggie. All right, so let's get to okay, let me see. Hopefully this is the dude.
What up, Dante?
What's going on? Is this PR Death?
Yeah, PR Death Proof.
Okay, what's going on, man?
Nice.
Thanks for finally calling in, man. So let me
I had to pay $3, man. The fuck, I had to add fucking $3 to my plan to call this shit.
You got to get a better plan, man, because you should have unlimited. You should have unlimited. What you got? One of them old phones where you got to pay for your minutes. You got free nights and you got to pay during the day or what?
Hell no. Yeah. I got the flip phone with the big ass with the big ass fucking buttons and shit.
Hey, well let's go ahead before you waste your money, man. Hey, let me ask you. So you said, I know Dante is picking Porter. I want you to be straight up, be honest. I ain't gonna take nothing you say personal. Why did you automatically assume that?
Because you always pick the black fighters, bro.
Okay. Well, let me prove you wrong. Wait. You said you're gonna keep a.
Hold on. Before we get into
wait. I gotta respond to that.
Way more important.
Hold on. I gotta mute you for a second. I gotta mute you so I can respond to that. I'm about to unmute you right now, but. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you. I just muted.
I want to touch on something.
No. Let me respond to that. Let me respond to what you first said because I'm about to prove you wrong. You said you keeping it a buck, so your buck is wrong. Let me wait. You don't want me to respond to you? You don't want me to respond to you? I'm gonna respond to you. So when Golovkin he fought against Curtis Stevenson, I have a video where I'm picking Golovkin. When
Stevenson is not black, he's Panamanian, bro.
What?
Oh my goodness, dude! Goodness, dude!
Are you serious? Are you serious, bro?
Stevenson is from Panama, bro. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from New York. My cousin used to train with him. Like we know this dude personally.
Curtis Stevenson is not black. So
yeah, call him. Hit him up.
Wait, hold on.
Sir, let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there, sir. Go ahead. Panamanians are classified as black. Please don't go there right there.
Okay. So why? That's exactly where I was going with this shit. So why when Angel Garcia says nigga, there's a problem with that. First of all, Dante, I want to ask where you from. Where you from?
I'm from Long Beach. I'm from Long Beach, California.
That's why when Angel says nigga, it bothers you. Because you from the West Coast.
Hold on.
The West Coast, I've been.
Wait.
Listen,
Let's go back. No, because we still haven't finished. We still haven't finished what we were talking. The first topic.
You don't want to get there.
We gonna talk. Oh, you gonna chop me up with this? Okay. We listen. First of all, okay. Let's jump to the nigga talk. Let's go ahead and talk about that first. Why is Angel only calling black people that? Because usually when people use that, as a term of endearment and it's they crew and they squad, they calling everybody that. Why does Angel only say it to black fighters? And why is it animosity? Why is it personal animosity towards Judah? Personal animosity towards Thurman. Hold on. Let me ask you one more thing. Let me ask you one more thing. I'm gonna let you talk. Why is it he was so cool with Robert Guerrero and his dad, but he has so much animosity towards Zab Judah and Keith Thurman. Why is that?
All right, first of all, Angel was gonna fight. Angel was gonna fight. Was almost got into a fist fight with Ruben Garcia.
No, never. I was there.
Never?
No.
Never?
They was cool.
Man,
you wait. You telling me he treated Robert? He treated Ruben Guerrero and Robert Guerrero. How come he didn't call Ruben? How come he didn't call Robert Guerrero a nigga? How come he didn't call Robert Guerrero a nigga?
I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know why, but because you don't want to, because you don't want to admit the truth. I will never tell you I don't know why.
Speak over me. I'm saying it's your show. I can't talk to you.
No,
you mute me, so I can't say. Let me know when I can speak.
Well, you can't speak right now because I'm gonna finish my point because this is my show. But once again, the reason you told me you was gonna chop me up, and then I asked you a logical question. Hold on. I asked you a logical question, and you say I don't know because you know damn well it don't make no sense that if you calling people nigga, but you only calling the black people that, and you're not calling non-black people that, you know exactly why. But you're going to say you don't know because you're going to have to admit the truth. All right, go ahead.
You agree that he said nigga, not nigger.
Yeah. Anyway, of course. We know.
But you've been to the Northeast. You know the hood. Like, I'm from the Bronx. I'm from Little Italy and shit. Like, we grew up, like, the blacks and Boricuas, it's the same shit. There's no separation. It's not segregated.
I know that.
And, all right. So it's completely different. And if you know listen, bro, and if you know anything about, like, the way hip-hop started, the shit was started by Boricuas and blacks.
Absolutely.
In the Bronx. If you know anything about that. So when Boricua say nigga, they just say nigga. And a Boricua can't be racist because if you know anything about the Caribbean, it's Spaniards mixed with natives of the islands, Taínos, Caribes, and Africans.
Yep.
That's why Felix Trinidad is black. That's why Wilfred Benitez is black. Camacho said nigga, there wasn't a problem with that.
No, it was a problem. But hold on, let me go back. I'm agreeing with a lot of the stuff you are saying. Believe it or not, I agree totally.
My thing is,
hold on, let me respond.
It's not only you that was saying it.
Hold on. No. We're not gonna talk about other people. We only talking about me. Forget other people. Let me respond. Hold on, let me respond to you real quick.
But you was on I agree with you. You was on that same wave though.
Hold on.
You was on that same shit.
Let me respond to you. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. You absolutely right. Puerto Ricans and blacks, as far as I'm concerned, they the same. They in the same gang. There should not be any racism from a Puerto Rican to a black because, like you said, Puerto Rican. The mixture, Puerto Rican is a mixture of European, Indian, and African. That's what they are a mixture of. Now, I want to tell you something. Even Angel Garcia, the guy you're defending, he's disagreeing with you because you know how you just said there is no separation.
I'm not necessarily.
But let me finish. I'm not necessarily hold on. I gotta mute you again, bro, because I'm not finished making my point. All I want to do is finish my point, and I'm gonna let you talk. Okay, so I just muted you. Can I finish my point? I'm gonna finish my point, okay? Because I want to tell you what Danny Garcia said, what Angel Garcia said. So Angel Garcia said to me, because I told Angel, I said, well, yeah, because he said, I'm not a racist. He was just talking and he was saying, and hey, I'm not a racist, and I said, you can't be. I said, yeah, you're Puerto Rican, and I was basically saying, and he said, and you know what he said? He said to me, yeah, Puerto Ricans, we have white in us. He said, we have white in us.
That's a fact. I saw that interview. That's a fact.
And bro, you notice he did not say what me and you are saying right now. He didn't say what me and you are saying. Me and you are agreeing. He didn't say
that's
Puerto Ricans.
To my point, Dante.
Wait, hold on.
I wasn't necessarily.
But I'm gonna let you finish. Okay, but
I'm just saying that how people jumped on that shit, like, oh.
But let me finish. But let me finish.
Come on,
bro. But in order for us to have a conversation, we got to let each other finish for a second. I just want to finish my point. Okay. Like I said, he did not say Puerto Ricans are black. We have black in us. We have white in us. He only said we have white in us. And then when I said to him, I said in other stuff too, which I was talking about black people. He said, well, yeah, and then the blacks, because a lot of slaves came over to Puerto Rico. That's what he said. So that's a
but
fact.
The Tainos were slaves before the blacks.
Absolutely. So think about this for a second. If he doesn't see black people as being like a part, like a mixture of Puerto Ricans, if he doesn't volunteer that information, if he doesn't say, look, we got black in us, we got white in it. You don't have to give an explanation and say, well, the slaves came over, so that's the reason why we have black in us. He didn't say, well, the Europeans, they came over and did this to us.
I think he's not the fucking smartest dude in the fucking world. He doesn't really know how to articulate.
This has nothing to do with articulation. But what's your name again, bro? So I could talk to you with your name. What's your name?
My name is Mike, bro.
Okay, Mike, but this is not articulation. It may be articulation when a person is inconsistent with their message. But when their message is consistent, it's not an articulation type of situation. Because if you see how he tried to, divide. Because you just said, right, he tried to separate the word that you use. He tried to separate hold on, let me finish. He tried to separate the Puerto Rican race. He did not accept that Puerto Ricans were black, white, and Indian, a mixture. He said that we are white. So he does not feel the way you and me feel. He don't feel the way you and me feel. You just said once again, Mike, you just said once again, you can't separate the two. That's not what he said. And I'm agreeing with you. But that's what Angel did, though. That's what Angel did.
No, but I'm not like I was trying to tell you earlier before you muted me. I'm not necessarily trying to defend Angel. I don't really give two fucks about that dude. What I'm just trying to say is that a lot of people ran with the narrative like about the Puerto Rican shit, and I felt like you have the platform where you could put out this information. A lot of people just ran and said, "Oh, he's racist." Oh, Puerto Ricans did all the motherfucking shit, say nigga, and this, and that.
No,
well, you know what I'm saying?
I got you, Mike.
Culture was founded by
Mike. Mike, no, I'm listening to you. Go ahead, and I'm gonna respond to what you said.
Yeah, well, most of the culture that everybody's running around was fucking started by blacks and Boricuas in the South Bronx. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I agree.
Motherfuckers can't come now just because you was born in the fucking 90s and don't know what your fucking history, and all of a sudden, oh no, y'all not. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
That shit's just wrong.
Hey, let money jump.
I wasn't necessarily defending him. I just want to put that information out there for the dumbasses who don't fucking know.
But you are talking about Angel, and you're saying that what he said wasn't. You didn't see it as racist because he's Puerto Rican.
To me, I don't consider it racist because Puerto Ricans say this shit, right or wrong. I know you're from the West, so it's completely different. I've been out there. I know how it is out there. Shit's segregated.
But it's a fact. It's a fact that usually you Puerto Rican, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, you are black. That's how I look at it. So I don't care. I don't care if you white with blue eyes. If you Puerto Rican, you have black blood in you. So that's why. So Mike, realistically, me and you agreeing to a certain extent. What you don't realize is only person disagreeing with me and you is Angel Garcia. Because he don't see it that way.
So that's back to my point, Dante. I wasn't necessarily defending him. What I was trying.
But I'm saying he's disagreeing with us. I'm saying he's disagreeing with us, though. I'm saying Tekashi. Let me just throw this real quick. Like Tekashi 6ix9ine, right? He's not Puerto Rican. He's Mexican. Look. Growing up, me personally,
he's half and half. He's Puerto Rican and Mexican.
Okay. Well, growing up in Long Beach, California, me personally. And I know some black people different when it comes to this, but me personally, when I don't care if white people, Asian people, when I see them saying, nigga this, and all that kind of stuff, I look at that as a compliment. That's like people wearing Michael Jordans or FUBU or that ain't black. You know what I'm saying? I look at that as a compliment when I see this. But the difference is when you hear Tekashi saying it, when you hearing these Asian kids, the Samoans, because they heavy in Long Beach, when you hearing all of them saying it, they saying it to each other. They saying it to each other. They not just saying it when they get angry and when it's a particular black person they don't like. Oh, you fucking nigga. Oh, you this. They not doing that. This is what Angel Garcia is doing. So
I understand that. But I personally, I don't think he's racist. You got Bernard on the wall in the gym. Nassim's always in his gym. Personally, I don't see. Danny's best friend is black. His mother's dark. Like
I'm not talking about Danny though, but I'm not talking about Danny. I'm talking about his father though.
No, I'm just saying, just looking at the circle. Like I said, I wasn't necessarily defending Angel. I just want to put that information out there for the people that don't know, because there was a lot of people running, Puerto Ricans this, Puerto Ricans that, and don't know shit about the history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the Mexican thing is a whole different. And the Mexican shit is a whole different, because they look at us and be like, oh, y'all motherfuckers think y'all black. Now, we can keep it a buck. Like, I'm not going to be politically correct. If there's anybody from the Northeast in the chat room, that's what they say to Boricuas. Oh, y'all motherfuckers think y'all black.
Like I said, man, Puerto Rican, as far as I'm concerned, Puerto Ricans, they are black. That's why it's more offensive to me when I hear Angel try to separate.
But the motherfucker might be racist, though. He might be.
There you go. There you go. Well, we agree. Now we agree. Now there's nothing there's nothing we disagree about, because, like I said, Puerto Rican.
Oh, no, we about to disagree on this Porter fight. So we about to disagree on that.
Okay, since we agree on that, let's talk about Porter now. So, okay, but this is the thing, Mike. Even if you pick Garcia, this fight is so close, and I've already said it numerous times. I don't have a problem.
Like, before everybody says, "Oh, he's picking Danny because he's Puerto Rican," my favorite fighter is Roy Jones. So
it don't matter.
My top number one guy.
But bro, this is a 50
fight of all time.
This is a 50-50 fight. So this is a 50-50 fight.
I don't see it, Dante. I don't see 50-50, man. I remember Kell Brook. I seen the way he struggled against Granado. AB dropped him. I don't see 50-50, man. But I don't think you guys respect Danny too much, bro.
But is that
you guys respect him.
But is that disrespecting Danny by saying it's a 50-50 fight against Porter?
I don't think. Yo, you know who Porter reminds me of, bro? He reminds me of a black Ricky Hatton, man. That's what he reminds me of, bro.
You know what?
I totally disagree with that. I disagree with that, brother. Ricky Hatton was more technical.
Shit, look at that. But you know how he beat Costa Zoo, man. He headbutted the shit out of Costa Zoo. He got away. Ricky Hatton, man. That's who he reminds me of.
Hey,
bro.
Mike. Okay, Mike. Let me just say this though, because you said
Kell Brook cooked him. Cooked them, bro. Cooked them.
Well, I wouldn't say he cooked them. I mean, it was a competitive fight.
He gave him a boxing lesson.
But Mike,
I didn't see it that competitive.
But Mike,
I saw an ass whooping.
But Mike, and I agree with you on the Ricky Hatton comparison. That's pretty. I agree with you when it comes to that. But with that being said, I'm still concerned that Danny Garcia, there was times when he was respecting Brandon Rios a little too much, and some of them rounds Brandon was actually winning. And Brandon Rios is nowhere near on the level of a Shawn Porter. I mean, what do you think about that?
I didn't see Rios, maybe a round, but I seen Danny getting in rounds. I knew Danny was jump. To me personally, like I was like raised in boxing. Like my uncle used to train Ivan Calderon. I don't know. I'm saying, you know boxing, you gotta know who he is. But we grew up in that shit. I seen what Danny was doing. It looked like he was trying to get rounds. I knew he was going to get him out of there as soon as he wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if
that's completely different styles though, because Shawn Porter's a little faster.
It's different styles. It's different styles with
his own offense.
It's different.
Shawn Porter doesn't give himself space to punch.
Okay, Mike, but let me say something though, Mike. But you can say the same thing about the comparisons you made when it came to Porter versus Broner, different style. Porter versus Kell Brook, different style. Matter of fact, let the panel get in on this. Hold on, Mike. Mike. No, wait.
We can let him get into it.
Real quick, Mike, because I want to let the panel get in. I've been letting you dominate the conversation right now, so I'm being real generous.
My bad.
Go. Well, hold on. Just hold your thought. I want Money to jump in. Money, your thoughts on the comparison. You heard everything he just said. He said, he got cooked against Kell Brook and how he looked bad against all these opponents. Your take on that, Money?
I mean, okay, so those things that had happened, true enough, but you know something? It's almost like Anthony Joshua saying, hey, I did this at my 20th fight, and what was Wilder doing at his 20th fight? Okay, well, that was then. I'm talking about now. Now you have a different ball game. And what I see, personally, I see Danny Garcia having some trouble. He will score some good shots, I do not see him. I just don't, because of the amount of pressure he's going to put on Danny Garcia. And Garcia is a very good fighter, but he's going to get out hustled though.
And
can I ask Money a question?
Go ahead.
Money, who's the better inside fighter, Danny or Shawn Porter?
Shawn, go ahead.
Oh, to me, Shawn Porter is not as sharp as Danny on the inside, but this is Danny is a mid-range fighter. He's not really truly a very good close-up fighter. Now, you said it well early when you said that sometimes that Shawn smothers himself.
Yeah, he definitely does.
You're right. And I've seen some guys that are very effective like that. I've seen some guys, and we have one guy that's in our gym. He's like that. But I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a nightmare. But for some odd reason, he makes it work for him. Shawn Porter makes that work for him. Now, Shawn Porter lost some fights, true enough. But he has never, what I call, really just been just flat out dominated. He hasn't.
So you disagree that Kell Brook dominated him with just a jab, with just a 1-2? With like the first thing that they shoot you when you go to the gym?
Kell Brook to me made the fight ugly. What I'm talking about when I say dominated, take a lot of the holding tactics here and there out of it, and I'm just flat out really not holding a person at all, just dominating him.
And
solid shots left and right.
Okay.
And
that's what I'm talking about. Just whoop his ass. I get it, but I understood. Everybody watches shit through their own eyes. I understood what he was doing, because if he wouldn't have clinched, he would have been getting headbutted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so you clinch to stop, and don't expect Danny to do anything else. What you think, Danny's going to let him just rush in? No, he's going to get clinched every time. The same way he did with Matisse. Same way he did with Matisse. And Matisse is a way deadlier puncher than him, by the way. Porter looked bad. Porter looked bad his last fight, bro.
Oh yeah,
really bad.
But Brandon Rios did not look good against Garcia didn't look good against Brandon Rios either. So
Dante, how could you say that? How could you say that when he knocked out a guy that's never been knocked out?
Because you knock out somebody
up to that point, he didn't look that good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. You can't forget everything that happened. Look, this is how I look at it. I used to box. Both my sons box. My son's a 2-time national champion. Let me just say this. When my son spars and he dominates a kid, if he gets hit too much, even though he dominates the round, I'm mad at him. And he's like, Dad, but why you mad? Why you mad? Dad, why you mad? You getting hit with shots against a guy that's nowhere near on your level. You shouldn't be getting hit by this guy. Mm-hmm. This guy should not be hitting you like that. And I'll be upset about it. I'll be real upset. So if I were to just look at it like, oh, he won every round, my son is not going to get better. You're not supposed to look at just the positives. You're supposed to look at the flaws so you can improve.
I definitely.
If you told Danny Garcia,
agree with what you said.
Yeah, because if you told Danny, oh, you did great. You did great. Oh, you didn't. It was nothing wrong. That was great. You knocked him out. You're the first person to do that, or the second person, because Tim Bradley knocked him out too. But you say that he ain't gonna get no better.
No, Tim Bradley stopped him to the body. There's a difference. You know that. Dante.
A knockout is a knockout. There's a difference between a knockout is a knockout.
A knockout is being knocked out. A stoppage is a stoppage.
A knockout is a knockout. It's a knockout. It don't. Yeah, if you sleeping, if you daze. If you can't get up in 10 seconds, it's a knockout. You could call it a technical knockout. You call it a knockout, but it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter.
It's a technical. Well, to me, I differentiate.
Okay.
To me, is different.
Slam.
I'll give you that. But if you know Danny, you know he's a slow starter. Whatever. But if you say he did,
that's what he can't afford to be.
And let me just say,
he's a slow starter, but he's a pure counterpuncher, and Shawn Porter can only do one thing at a time. Either he's coming forward or he's moving back. And lately, he hasn't been moving back at all. Honestly, I think he's going to try to box. I don't think he's trying to come in.
So you believe Danny is going to try to box? But you said
I think Shawn Porter is surprised. I think Shawn Porter's going to box because Danny's a pure counterpuncher. This is the thing that casual fans don't see in him. His timing is crazy. That's why he can throw the left hook
no
without
doubt.
looking and catch people.
I agree with you.
His timing is crazy.
But when somebody smothers you,
Shawn Porter charges in. And the difference between Danny and if we take the Shawn Porter versus Thurman, Thurman does not stand his ground to counter you. He uses his legs to move and get out the way and then counter you. Then he stands his ground and counters you.
Yeah, but
and that's how he knocks dudes out.
But the thing is, the question is Shawn Porter going to close the distance? Is he going to close the gap and not give Danny Garcia enough room to throw those perfect accurate hooks that he lands with his eyes closed? Because if he closes the distance, there's no way Garcia's gonna be able to land those shots.
Well, when he dropped Matisse, it was in the inside. He went into the Philly shell. He tightened up, started rolling with the punches, spun him, and got him against the rope and dropped him. And that shit was all on the inside.
And once again, what's his name? Jesus, what's his name? You just said his name, Matisse. And once again, Matisse is more of a thinking aggressive fighter. You know, Shawn Porter, like you said, Shawn Porter is like Ricky Hatton. He's just all over you. He's all over you. Matisse is not a Ricky Hatton, Shawn Porter type of fighter. So, but listen, let me say this, Mikey. You got to understand, this is a fight where I can see Danny Garcia winning the fight. I'm not saying what you're saying on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm not saying Shawn Porter gonna cook him. No way Danny wins. I've already said this is an extremely close fight. I said I wouldn't be surprised if Danny wins. So we don't really have that much of a debate. I'm just saying it is a competitive fight. You're saying you don't even see this competitive, but Shawn Porter versus Keith Thurman was competitive. So if Porter
styles make fights, Dante.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I agree. And
styles make fights. I think that a lot of people
you see a landslide
that he's tailor-made.
You see a landslide.
He's tailor-made. How
many rounds you see? How many? What you see? 10 rounds to 2, 9 to 3. What do you see in this fight?
Honestly, I think it could be a knockout. It depends on what Shawn Porter. You notice that fighters fight Danny Garcia different. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
They fight him different. It's like Lamar Peterson comes out against Danny. He's on his bike. He goes against Errol Spence, and he want to go toe to toe with Errol. So they fight him different. So it depends what Shawn Porter shows up.
It depends on what Shawn Porter shows up.
Not trying to get knocked out, then it probably go rounds. But if he come forward, I think Danny's gonna knock him out.
And you know what? That's a possibility, because that's the only way. Honestly, that's kind of the only way I see Danny winning this fight. To be honest, if it goes 12 rounds,
I think Danny is more technical than him, Dante.
Oh, Danny is.
He is, and not just a little bit. I think he's way more technical.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. No one on this panel has argued how technical and skilled Shawn Porter is, how accurate and precise he is.
Let's go down the line. So, experience, who got the experience, Danny or Shawn?
They both have the experience.
No, Danny got way more experience than him.
Sean's been in the ring. Sean's been in the ring.
Way better resume.
Well, Sean's been in the ring with Keith
Thurman.
Way
better resume.
But Sean's been in the ring with Keith Thurman. They both been in the ring with Keith Thurman. Shawn was in there with Adrian Broner. Danny Garcia was
a little guy who dropped him.
But
I don't know.
But we talking about experience. We talking about the type of opponents, your resume, the type of opponents you in there with. And Danny Garcia, he was in there with Robert Ghost Guerrero. He was in there with Lucas Matisse, and that's about it.
He was in there with Amir Khan. He was in there with Eric
Morales. So
Eric Morales that just had beat McDonald's ass. Don't forget about that.
Eric Morales was
way past his prime.
Yeah, he was
way past his prime.
Himself.
Yeah, he was way past his prime.
But remember,
he's not even worth bringing up.
Yeah,
he's not. He's not. But remember, like, all right, you guys know boxing. Remember, Eric Morales just had beat the shit out of Marcos Maidana, and a couple fights later. Who's Marcos Maidana fighting? Floyd. So, come on, you got to be real. You got to give credit where it's due. Danny was put in against Morales to lose. He was put against Amir Khan to lose.
Once again, I'm not really arguing who has more experience. What I was telling you is their experience is pretty much the same. That's what I was saying.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I disagree.
That's okay.
I disagree.
That's fair enough, but I just don't think it changes the style. This is a very difficult style.
So you say is even on that
experience.
Who's faster?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one right there. He said Porter.
Porter has faster feet, but I think Danny has faster legs. My opinion. He has more power.
That's a tough one because Porter is not a slow fighter. He's not a slow fighter. So, I mean, I don't see a speed advantage. I see when it comes to advantages for Danny Garcia, I see the technical skill, the accuracy, and he may have an edge in power.
Yeah,
he might have an edge in power. Even I don't know how much his power was affected him moving up to 147, but those are the advantages I feel he has. But once again, I think Danny's also going to get hit more than he's ever gotten hit before. I think he will get hit more than he's ever gotten hit before in this fight, even more than he did in the Keith Thurman fight.
With gloves or with headbutts?
No, I'm talking about with punches. I'm talking about with punches. Because he's going to be all over him. He's going to be throwing punches constant. But like I said, it really depends on if Danny Garcia. I said this earlier. If Danny Garcia does something that Granados did, I just said it earlier. Granados did something that no other fighter was able to do with Porter. He fought Porter's fight on the inside. He went toe-to-toe with Porter. He actually had Porter tie him up. Usually everyone who fights Porter, they have to tie Porter up. But this dude, he fought toe-to-toe with his back against the ropes, and he actually made Porter back up a couple times. So what I'm saying is, if Danny Garcia, if he's willing to do what Granados did, fight on the inside with his back against the ropes without tying up and all that, then he may get Porter's respect. And that may be the beginning of the end for Porter. But that's a tough thing to do. Not to fight Porter and not hold is tough to do. We seen Kell Brook holding. We seen that was his main tactic to win, holding. We seen Broner do it.
Be Garcia's tactic too. I think that's the only way you stop him from doing that bullshit.
And that's not gonna get Porter's respect. I don't think that's gonna get Porter's respect. Is to use that. You know what I mean? I think he'd be better off trying to fight him toe to toe to try to do what Granados did. Granados backed him up. So,
I think at points it'll be a good strategy. The motherfucker headbutt's crazy. He rushes in, he smothers yours and his own office.
Yeah, and I hear somebody in the comment section saying Danny has an iron chin, but you can kind of
probably the best chin.
But I would say Porter, the shots he got caught with against Thurman, that indicates he has a good chin too. Just because he got knocked down by Adrian Broner, that don't really determine how great his chin.
That was a flash.
I mean, because like I said, you could get caught. I mean, once again, the Suge Knight factor. Suge Knight got knocked out by a dude that was a $105. It wasn't because the dude was a hard puncher, and it wasn't because Suge don't have a chin. It was because he got dope fiend because he got caught with a shot he didn't see. So once again,
anybody be knocked out.
Yeah, that's what.
But Shawn Porter hasn't been knocking nobody out. And his last opponent.
I know that's because the competition is getting better. I mean, we haven't seen Danny knock out tough competition, right? Same thing with Porter. When you step up in competition, the knockouts they often evaporate because the competition is better. So. Right. But we'll see, man. We'll see what'll happen. Hey, man. But good talk, man. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, man, and get ready to wrap it up, man. We did an extra hour because of you. You know what I mean? So everybody could thank.
Good looking, man.
Everybody could thank. Yeah. Hey. So thanks. Hey. But thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Fan, though, bro.
No. Right, I appreciate it. Take care, man. Take care. So.
All right, bro. Hey, take it easy.
And I want to say something real quick before we move on, and we're gonna get out of here. I know you ready to go to sleep over there on the East Coast, Money. So we gonna wrap it up in a minute. But I want to say because I when this dude was talking, and this goes back to my point, talking about race and everything. Somebody, a couple people in the comment section was saying, "Oh, look at Dante race baiting," or talking about race. This goes back to my point. They only say this about black people. Notice it was my caller who called in we were talking about boxing. We were talking about Porter versus Garcia. It was him that brought up race. And nobody in the comment section said, why did this dude call in race baiting? This is my point once again. They only say this to black people. You know, so they're basically telling you what they think about black people when they say this, which also spins off on the point that when it comes to the guy who just called in saying, you black people, he said, what did he say? Calling people nigga and all this kind of stuff. Angel Garcia, he's black or he's Puerto Rican, so he's part black. So, of course Puerto Ricans talk like that. But when I asked him, why is he only saying this about black opponents though? And then he said, I don't know. Which that closed the case right there. That's like you telling me that you wasn't at that person's house that's dead up in their house, right? And you said, I ain't never been in the house. And you say, well, why is your DNA there? Why is your shoes that you wore yesterday there? Why is your fingerprints with blood on the wall? And your answer is, I don't know. That's going to put your ass in jail. That's going to get you found guilty. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, that's pretty much what I'm going to close out with. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I think we pretty much touched on everything, right, Money?
We sure did. I think they talked about Beltran earlier with Loma.
Beltran, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Beltran.
Oh, yeah. Let's just talk about that real quick too.
Okay.
So once again, because I think we touched on it a little bit, but didn't get deeper into it. But Bob Arum, he doesn't want Lomachenko to fight against Mikey Garcia. He wants the Beltran fight. So, Money, your thoughts on that situation? Have you heard anything else? Do you think that's going to be the fight? And is that obvious rhetorical question? But what does that suggest if Bob Arum, doesn't want to put Loma in there with Mikey Garcia?
I think this is like that go between step. No, I haven't heard anything, yet so far, as from what it was just first mentioned. I guess we'll see how that develops along. I think Beltran is that true litmus test, that next step up right before Garcia, because Beltran, he's been looking pretty good lately. I mean, he had an exciting fight his last time out, even though he pulled it off.
Mm-hmm.
But Beltran is dangerous.
I think
he's the.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just about to say I slightly disagree with you, Money. I think Beltran is extremely tailor-made for Lomachenko. I think that's kind of like when Lomachenko, when he went up against God, I'm forgetting the guy's name. What's the guy's name? The one that fought Jesus, what's his name? What's the guy's name? The aggressive he trains with Tevin Farmer. He trains with Tevin Farmer. He had a draw. He had an undeserved draw with Nicholas Walters. Y'all tell me in the comment section what's the guy's name that Lomachenko just beat real easy. Not Roman Martinez. Not Roman Martinez. He trains with Tevin Farmer. What's his name? Jason Sosa. Thank you, LaShawn. Jason Sosa is who I'm talking about. I think Ray Beltran. I think Lomachenko will treat him just the way he treated Jason Sosa. Jason Sosa was a real aggressive, come forward fighter, and after about 3-4 rounds of Lomachenko picking him apart, it got to the point to where Sosa looked hopeless in there, and I think that's going to be what's going to happen in this fight. What I would like to see, Money, and it makes sense with all these World Boxing Series tournaments or whatever, or the Super Series, whatever it's called. But you have these tournaments, and it would make sense for Mikey to fight Robert Easter, and then Lomachenko fight the winner. Those are the champions at 135. So whoever, if it's Loma against Beltran, they fight the winner of Garcia versus Easter, and that solves who the best fighter is at 135. I think that makes all the sense.
Agree with that.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. That That makes all the sense in the world right there. You know, so that's pretty much what it is, man. So okay, man, yeah, we gonna go ahead and wrap it up once again, man. I apologize I couldn't get to everybody in the comment section or on the phone lines right now. But once again, man, thanks to my panel, my man Money Pal, and my special pop-in panelist, guest, my man Jimmy J Smooth. You still there, Jimmy? Okay, Jimmy, yeah, because we ain't talked to him in a minute, so he gone. So anyway, that's pretty much what it is, man. So anything you want to close out with, Money?
No, that's about it.
That's about it. A deeper. That's all,
Good
folks.
Show. Great show.
Absolutely, man. So you guys already know how we do, man. We gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'm gonna do a couple shows this week because I'm leaving the country again, man. I'm preparing for my other channel and I'm traveling a lot. I done been to 5 different countries in the last 3 weeks, but you know we're gonna talk about a lot of that. I'm going to Thailand actually next week, and then I'm gonna be in Texas for the Arrow Spin Spice. So I'm gonna do a couple shows this week. I'm gonna do a couple shows this week to make up for the fact that I won't be doing the one next Sunday, and we'll take it from there. But man, y'all already know what it is, man. Hashtag new media, hashtag decaf busters, hashtag Dante's Boxing Nation, hashtag Dante's Cooking Nation, hashtag Dante's Muscle Nation. Y'all already know what it is, man. We'll see y'all in a little bit. It's the nation, baby. Yep.